All right, there we go. We should be working here. Refresh. This should be up. Should be up here. Yes, please work. Unpin the message. There we go. All right, chat. We are here. So apparently the game is going to start at 6:20. So good decision there. So the game will start in about 10 minutes. But we are here on this stream. Okay then. So let me get the poll up. Who wins? St. Louis, DC. Let's start that poll, baby. Get that one started. Did not mean to open that tab. So we got that poll going to X, going up here. Birmingham having a very bad day. Yes, sir. Michigan. I can't believe Michigan is finally going to the UFL Championship. Massive. Okay, I'm still getting the tweets up and all that. I still got to get things open. So, chat, I won't see you for a second. I'm going to get other things fully done here. So let's go to load faster. There we go. Copy. Post. I am live for the XFL Conference Championship game between the Defenders and... Oh, I spelled Defenders wrong. Defenders and the Battlehawks. Really? I spelled that wrong? Ain't no way. Ain't no way, yeah. There we go. I'm live for that game. Go to Profile. Scroll down to my post about my game picks, which ended up being pretty close. Like, technically I was like good on this one. Let's see. So my game picks, blah, 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 other stuff posted. There we go. So I had this going over, Michigan winning. So perfect, 3 for 3 in this one. 3 for 3 on the USFL game. Love that. Go back over here. Go back to the home tab. See my post, new post. Am I on ABC? Yeah, I'm still on ABC, so it's still doing the thingy right now. I'm still trying to watch this. I mean, it's not fully over, but still. Okay, massive. Poll is still up. I did unpin my message. Yes, I did. Let me make sure I unpin this message. I want to make sure I do not have that pinned. I do not. Good. Go back over here. Channel content. Last stream did really well. 43 likes. Massive. GG Birmingham. Also the end of the Stallions. Watch Jordan throw 4 interceptions. UFL is saved. I can't believe we're actually seeing another team in the championship game. Hey, I mean, they won 3 chips. That's insane. I can't believe we have another team in there. Still have Soccer and Fox here. Yeah, I've just got... Yeah, I know it's the trophy presentation. I mean, the game is technically not supposed to start till 6:20, apparently, so I'm still got the USFL one on, but yeah. Ride Tide style until the end. Jordan stat line predicted. 400 touchdown, bruh. I will be streaming the championship game. Yes, I will. I picked Stallions to win on the poll, but I wanted Michigan to win. I just can't believe they actually got the W. We finally have somebody new carrying the franchise. I mean, Perkins went 80 completion percentage. To'Atau had 80 yards on the ground. Deion Kane did a ton, but that was pretty much all they had. They had Deion Kane going for it, and that was pretty much it. So, massive, though. 7 straight. You can beat us 7 times. You will never beat us 8 in a row. Kind of energy, bro. We love it. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm going to go and get a couple extra drinks and like one little mini kind of cake thing to hold me down since I can't have dinner for like 3 hours. I'll be back in a second. We back, chat. You can beat us 7, but you can't beat us 8. Oh, that's great. 8-tier game easily. Now this is my my dinner for now. Is this little cake? So, yeah, I won't have dinner for a few hours, but it is what it is. You have to have something to hold me over for a while. We can't hold the league forever, true. $44 to $29 is insane. Heading into this game, Birmingham was 6-0, all time in the postseason. Finally, it's over. I honestly don't know which one this is. It's one of those, but I don't know which one. Honestly, they're about the same to me. There we go. Massive. Can't believe it. Michigan finally won. I think they definitely can be. The fact is Birmingham did deal with a lot of injuries at the quarterback position. And yes, even though J. Moore was playing great, that's a big deal that you have to play 5 different quarterbacks. I would not be shocked at all if they were back in the USFL Championship game next year or even the championship game. I would not be shocked whatsoever. Can't believe it finally happened. Insane. It was a good run for Birmingham. It had to end at some point, and even though they still definitely could be that next year, insane. Yeah, the USFL trophy right there. And the other game hasn't officially started yet. I'll be broadcasting that in a second. I mean, technically it took them 4 years. I mean, this is year 4 going against Birmingham. It took them 4 years to finally get the W, which is even worse, but it is that. Smoking that Stallion's back. Yes, sir. I'm on the wrong account on Instagram. Gotta post on my main. Aaron Dolan, why you showing up on my screen? 73 points total is insane. That is absolutely insane that many points got scored in this one. If UFL becomes more successful next year, I'm going to get a Stallions jersey. Hey, it would be cool. I mean, I do hope they start lowering the time, but yeah. It would be cool. I mean, hey, you got a lot of places. I have absolutely no clue what to expect right now as a DC fan because the offense is usually fine, but our defense is so overrated. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where it's a lot of it because of the fact that early in the season, the defense was really, really good. The first, literal 2 weeks of the season. Then it kind of, let's just say, fell off a cliff, and it's been bad. But because you have, a Joe Wallace, a Malik Fisher, guys who themselves are really talented players, they try to act like the defense is better than it actually is. I think what it really comes down to, though, is the ground game. I think that a lot of it is going to be how good does Deion Jackson and Amber Smith play, because historically the duo has not been that great. But if they can give you a decent performance, you should be able to win. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see for sure, though. Let's go over here. New post, UFL Conference Championship. Yes, sir. Former notifications. So now we got the UFA Nations League. Can't believe that. I still hate that, bro. I was so hoping that somehow, some way, that Croatia was going to win that one, but then they ended up losing a while ago, which sucked. Add to story. In Memphis last year at week 2. Nice. I've only got the 2 hats. Don't even have a Panthers hat, but yeah. To the championship. And posted. Alexi Lawless, bro, why you on my screen? Put on a football game. I just sense a bit hide. I bought a cat. No hate going on here. Scroll up. They said it couldn't be done. Where's my emoji? Nations League over. Should be putting on the XFL game now. Absolutely insane. Trending. Alcaraz is still number 3 on trending. That's insane. Yeah, Nick Chubb trending. I see that now. Pete Alonso, of course, became the sole position as second most home runs by the Mets ever. Yeah, Alonso's going to get number 1 this season. That's sick. Absolutely insane. A comment on the Instagram post that said Perkins is better than Mahomes. Maybe. Good luck, fans of all teams. I'm rooting for DC in this one, though they don't have a great shot. Well, yeah, it's definitely interesting to see who wins this one. Cause the law. Makes sense since we'll see you next week, Car. Ever hear that? It's gonna be something else. I saw this is gonna be. Let's see how this game's gonna be an interesting one. Again, I predicted St. Louis would win this game somewhat comfortably, but I think it's definitely going to be a lot depending on exactly how well Deion Jackson Abrams plays. But it'll be interesting to see for sure. It will be. How do you feel the Panthers beating the Stallions? I honestly can't believe they finally got it done after all these years. It's been so long, and they finally get it done, and they're going. It's great. Because I'm watching it on my phone, I got to go to my friend's house. Hope you have a good time watching this game. Watching this game. Hopefully this ends up being as good as the last one, because the last one was definitely an A-tier game. I know it's kind of, we got spoiled, but like when you compare it to like the Panthers Maulers game, was it as good as that one? No, but was this one as good or better than the Stars Generals? Yes. That was an A-tier game. Great one. We'll see how this one is. I also agree. I think it's probably going to be St. Louis, but we'll see if they get the W here. Hopefully get a pretty packed crowd here in St. Louis. Michigan Panthers versus everyone. Awesome game. This is our year with Perkins. Love seeing them finally get the W. It took them a while, but they finally get it done. The Stallions are finally down. It took them 7 damn playoff games to finally lose in the playoffs. And they are finally, it's just, oh my goodness. St. Louis next 4 championship games. Yes, sir, we're going to get the Warriors Cavs Part 2. It will be a great game. Michigan versus St. Louis would be such a good game for the championship. It really would be. I hope it's that. Now, of course, big thing to note, both quarterbacks did not play last week in their Week 10 matchup in the rain. Both starters were resting. They also rested Jacob Sailors for the Battlehawks. So you have those 3 key players who did not play last week in their matchup against each other. Now, also, Jacob Sailors and Max Duggan also rested in the second half of Week 9. So we'll see what ends up happening here. What do you think the final score will be? I'm trying to remember what I literally just posted it and I already forgot. I predicted this would be a 24-14 St. Louis one. I predicted this would be a like under 40 points scored kind of game. It's kind of bold, honestly, that I picked that, but we'll see. Is the PJ event still not over? I have not seen the winner thing yet. They're in a 5th playoff. What the hell? I was like, how the hell is that event not over yet? Wow, your odds of winning a Masters ticket is like 1 in 18,000. That's insane. So the Battlehawks are going to be kicking the ball off. DC will be getting it first. It is going to be a touchback. Even the Sun... Seeing that one again. Get your chips and party snacks and party... Yep, we got the championship game next week. Let's see get the W here. St. Louis in the championship would look so good on TV. Honestly, facts. It would look awesome. They run it in the middle. It's going to be about a 5-yard gain for the defenders on first down. Is the crowd disappointing? I honestly, it looks pretty solid so far. I'm still looking at a lot of things. I tip my hat to Michigan Panthers for winning the UFL Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if they get the championship next week. I just can't believe they finally got it done, honestly, Marvin. That last game was great. Easy A-tier game. Really good one. Get the job in St. Louis. Let's see if St. Louis can get the job done. I will keep this pull up for a little bit longer, probably about the 10-minute mark. We'll take it off. 2nd and 5 for DC. In shotgun, 3 receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and it's going to be at a... It's like a 7-yard loss, like clockwork. The DC ground game is not doing good. Total is the beach. Get another shot for sure. Maybe they behind B, or honestly they could. It's 3rd and 11. They only let them lose about 6 yards. Good field position for them considering how bad it was. Let's see if they can get the first down here. Taylor drops back to pass. Looks to the middle of the field. Looks to the left. Throws a little dump off. It is going to be tackled for about like a 5-yard gain. Again, this is the biggest concern I have with DC's whole offense. Is their ground game is a very weak unit compared to pretty much especially the other playoff teams. And right there, right, you had a decent first down play, but then you ended up losing about 6 yards. So you ended up losing more than you gained on your first down play. Forces you to have to get some on 3rd down, then you do a little screen pass or a little check down, and now you're forced to punt already. So a really solid start for St. Louis' defense right there. I will say in fun news, Breland Speaks did end up following me on Instagram. Just a humble brag right there. Very happy about that. Definitely one of the cooler moments for me, but yeah. Punt is up. It is going to be recovered or returned initially. Ooh, takes a St. Louis bounce. It bounces to about the 13-yard line. It looked like it was going to be a worse one, but ended up being a pretty solid one. Imagine Toa in the 50s. Bruh. That's diabolical. I mean, true, but that would be diabolical if that would have happened. W follow. I was very... It literally came out of, like, nowhere. I was like, man, this is sick. I was very happy about that. Somebody just DM me. Okay, it was UFL thing again. Penalty on St. Louis, looks like. Image. Sup, Joe? I hope you watched that last game. That was an insane one right there. It was an awesome game. Definitely one of the best games of the UFL and the playoffs. Definitely one of, I would say probably the 3rd best playoff game between the 4 leagues, or not the 4 leagues, but the 5 seasons. I would say that it was the only 2 better were the championship in 2022 and the 2023 North Division Championship. Still a great one. After the penalty, the Battlehawks will get the ball at about the 3-yard or the 2-yard line. Let's see what they do here in shotgun. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and it's going to be about a 1-yard gain. Panthers won. Hey, it was awesome to see them win. Still trying to finish up everything that I was doing real quick. They throw it to the left. It's going to be incomplete. Just almost finished up right here. If this game is like the first, it's going to be a treat. On God. If this ends up being a great game, it's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm almost fully set up. I still got like one more thing I'm trying to do. And Duggan runs it and gets the first down. Again, while his passing has been questionable, his ability to run is really solid. I mean, first, hey, championship tell. Yeah, well, I mean, technically, he's talking about the technicality with the OG USFL, because the Panthers were the first ever USFL champions back in 1983. They ended up beating they were the Philadelphia Stars for the championship game. First and 10 for the St. Louis Battlehawks here. Duggan drops back, throws it, fakes the throw, and he gets hit. Ball is out, and it looks like St. Louis got the ball back. Go Defenders, because they also count Arlington. I still count it. Yeah, you do have to count the Arlington if you do that. They get about 4 yards in the play after the penalty. So, yeah. Go Defenders. Let's see. 3rd and 14 for the Battlehawks. Also fell apart. Oh, I forgot we're on Fox. So I'm going to have to pull up the second stream. If you know, you know. So I'll probably pull that up in a split second as well. Just trying to finish this stuff up. Trying to do something real quick. 3rd and 14. In shotgun. 3 receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Getting pressured. Rolls around it. Goes to his left. He throws it deep to the left. It is incomplete. Ja'Cour Pearson almost had an incredible catch. It was incomplete. So it's going to be another punt here. Again, I did predict this to be a somewhat close, low-scoring game, so we'll see. I need to get some more Real and Speaks cards, honestly. Okay, that should be everything there. So now let me duplicate this tab right here. So I do not know how to duplicate tabs. Get that there. New window. I'm just setting this up for those of you who don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to set this up to where we can have the play-by-play stuff on the screen at the same time. So get that up there. Where is my window tab? I have a second window tab. We're going to open that other window tab. We're going to put, hopefully, other game on. That's not the other game. That's not what I wanted either. There we go. So we're going to put that there. We're going to move this tab up 1. Then we're going to also move this down about here. We're going to extend it there. So I'm going to move this one up. That's not what I wanted. You're going to move this one up to about here. Scroll that a bit down there. There we go. No, scroll that back down. There we go. Okay, almost there. So there we go. Hope that looks a bit better. Now we've got the play-by-play thing going up as well. So got both those up there. Let me make sure I get both these up over here. There we go. I don't need this up anymore though. So pull this one up, then this one. There we go, chat. So now I got this one. Thank you, Joe, for the jersey. Definitely happy to get this one a while back. Defenders also kind of fell off from 23 to 24 on, yeah, that was definitely a much worse team for sure. Toa Tao was live on Twitter. Love it. Love to see it. Now on commercial break. Again, absolutely wild. Everything's pretty much set up here. This year. I do definitely want to see Silvers coming potentially if Duggan keeps playing this. Again, we've seen a lot of the issues, but we'll see. Did I actually tweet this out? Yes, I did. Okay, thank God. I thought I didn't tweet that out for a second. Dad, bruh. Still no winner for that game. Insane. Profile. Go back over here. There we go. Open the 2 tabs up. Now we're ready. First and 10 for the DC defenders. They're at the 35-yard line. They hand it off, and it's going to be about a 6-yard gain. Ooh, about an 8-yard gain. Really solid play on the ground for DC. Again, as I mentioned, if DC wants to win this game, they need the ground game to be better than what it usually is. The ground game is usually a very big weak spot for DC. If they can keep having decent plays, it's really good. Now, the biggest issue is they lose a lot of yardage, a lot. They'll have a lot of plays that end up losing 4 yards. They just can't have that happen. Second and 1 for DC with 8.5 minutes left in the first quarter. They fake the handoff. Teamu rolls out to his right, and he just slides down. He ends up losing about 3 yards there. Definitely a bad play for Teamu again. Again, it's not technically like a full run, but that is still a loss of about 3 yards on a potential scramble. Big break for St. Louis. Bad play right there for DC. St. Louis fans are all hyped up. Third and 4, under 8 minutes left. Going pretty fast so far. Let's see what DC does here. Showing Pita, again, potential DPOY winner right there. We'll probably find out this week. Teamu drops back to throw, looks to his right. He throws it. It is going to be caught for a first down. Solid play right there for DC, getting the first down. Again, usually DC is a throw-it-deep kind of team, but if you have to, you need to be able to throw those little check downs, those short passes. That was a good play right there by DC, and Teamu throwing a little check down to get the first down, keep the drive alive. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Quick throw to the right. It's going to be cut. Ooh, incomplete. That was a bad drop right there. Again, that was just a total drop. Had it in his hands. That's what they always joke about saying, right? Thinking about trying to run instead of just trying to catch it. Powell just did not catch it. He was focused on getting the yak that he ended up missing it. Bad play right there. Going to be 2nd and 10 now. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Let's see what DC does here. 3 receivers to the left. Running back to the left as well. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick little screen pass to Chris Rowland. Gets to the 50-yard line. Breaks the tackle. Gets the first down. And then about maybe half a yard extra. But bottom line is he did get the first down. Good play by Rowland right there. That's what you want to see if you're a DC fan right there. Being able to do these quick little short passes. Seeing guys catch it. Not like Powell dropping that other one. That's what you want to see. It's a great first down for Michigan. I mean, for DC. I'm still so used to the last game. I mean, it's absolutely wild. In fact, doing 2 play-by-plays back-to-back, 6 straight hours of stream is going to be wild. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Ball is snapped. It is a fake handoff. Teamu's going to throw it again. He's throwing a deep ball. There's the deep pass. It is up the middle. It is caught for a touchdown. DC draws first blood 6-0. As I mentioned in the last game, DC's offense is basically F it, go deep. If it's working, they're going to be able to win any game. Now, it's not normally built for the playoffs, but if it works and you can stop St. Louis, it's going to be great. So right there, insane. I'm actually right with you. You're usually 30 seconds ahead. Wow, I'm definitely shocking for Fox. I think it was faster in ABC than normal. So, a massive W, though. Despite the name of the defenders, the defense has been weak. True. Thank you, Zomb, for bringing us these games. No problem. This was definitely a weekend doing back-to-back streams, but is what it is. You know, I don't think we're going to hit it, so try and hit that 1250 subscriber goal by the end of the season. But, I mean, we gained like 4 just during the last live stream, which is a massive W. So, hopefully this one ends up being good. I still can't believe how much we've grown this season. We hit 1,000 a lot earlier than I thought we were going to hit, honestly. But, yeah. 6-0. They're going to go for 1 here. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and they do not get it. Now, if you were here in the last stream, which I know a lot of you were, we talked about Michigan. They have been consistently a beautiful team when it comes to the extra point attempts. DC, however, has been the opposite. Their biggest Achilles heel, aside from their run game and defense, has been how bad they are at extra point attempts. They are one of, if not, I believe, the single worst team when it comes to extra points. So, really bad right there. I'm rooting for St. Louis because I do want to see the St. Louis-Michigan Championship. I've said for a while now that I think that would be the best overall game, followed by Birmingham versus St. Louis, as well as just the amount of people that will be in the Dome for the championship will be much higher if it's St. Louis. So I would want the St. Louis Battlehawks to win it. 10 seconds ahead. That's more what I'm used to seeing. I'm going to end this poll. So St. Louis, wow, 83% of people pick St. Louis to win. I know they were the favorites, but like that's a lot of people. I did not expect that one. Notifications. Let's see what notifications got. Best. You can beat us. Bro, I got 10 likes on that tweet already, bro. You can beat us 7 times. You can't beat us 8. Skip, I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, I mean, you changed your quarterback after one bad play, and it's like, come on, man. I am not going again this year. The main reason is because it's in St. Louis. If it was in literally, like, any other city in the league, I would have gone. It just was a matter of, like, if I'm going to spend $1,000 to go to the championship game, it would be for, like, one day. There's a lot of things I could spend $1,000 on, and so I just decided to not go. Like, I was originally expecting it because I thought the initial rumors were it was going to be in Protective or it was going to be at Audi Field. It was in either place, I would have been there. Instead, it was in St. Louis again, and I was like, can't go there. So, sadly, no, which sucks. But, hey, you know what? I've been to 2 championship games. I went to the 2023 UFL one, went to that one. If they move it to a different city, I'll go. But I'm not going to go to St. Louis again, at least not right now. I need to see them in the UFL Championship. It would be so huge to see them going against each other. I would love the game back in Canton. Canton was really fun because you're literally like 40-ish minutes away from Cleveland. So you can go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's a massive W right there. And then, of course, you're also like a couple hours away from Columbus. So if you want to make it a big trip, there's a lot of places you can go. Whereas St. Louis, it's like not the same level of things to do. Because Canton, you have the NFL Hall of Fame. You right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a lot to do. But, yeah. Canton Championship would be awesome. I'd love it. Lucky I live in Hawaii, so I can't go to any games. Yeah, definitely a rough one, but I know it's definitely the biggest issue if you live somewhere like there. I know it's like Hawaii and Alaska. If you live there, it's like you're so far away from everything else in America. 2 hours from St. Louis and Columbia, Missouri. Nice. I hate that I'm nowhere near any team. DC's the closest team, and it's like over 5 hours away from me. Yeah, I really hope they add a team closer. You know, I hope there's some of the rumors are true. Maybe we get a Richmond or Raleigh team. That'd be cool, but we'll see. 239 passing yards per game this season, most in the UFL Teamu. Kind of shocked it's that low, honestly. But let's see what they do here. Again, St. Louis is going to get the ball now after that touchdown for DC. Massive touchdown for him. We'll see what Duggan can do. Again, I wouldn't be super shocked if he ends up getting benched for Silvers. Silvers may not be the dual threat quarterback they want, but when he played the last 2 games, he's been very solid, so we'll see. Yes, the championship game is going to be on ABC this year. Returns to the 10-yard line, the 15, the 20, the 25, and he gets down to the 25-yard line. So yes, the championship game is going to be on ABC this year, so yes, this is the last Fox game of the season. Hawaii won't get a team, plus stadiums under construction. Still wild they used to have the Hawaiians back in like the World League of Football. Yeah, I love how they keep showing that Max Duggan throwing motion, that insane throwing motion he has right there. Again, they're just showing that like fumble he had or whatever it was. Like that kind of thing happens because of his throwing motion. That's why I wouldn't be super shocked we do see some Silvers play if he ends up, getting bad. 1st and 10 for the Battlehawks in shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fake the handoff. Duggan throws it. Little check down. It is caught by Sailors, who gets to the 30-yard line. He gets tackled. He's going to get to about the 34. Maybe they call him the 35-yard line. Might be a first down. If it is, it's a nice play for them. If not, it's still a really solid first down play. Under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Yep, they're going to call it short, 2nd and 1. Let's see if they can get the first down here. Okay, you got to use Sailors more on the ground. For some reason, there's been a lot of games where they don't really use them too much on the ground. Definitely want to see them get some action. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. In shotgun, Sailors, 2 is left in the backfield with him. They do hand it off. Sailors gets the first down, then gets about another 1.5 yards. Solid play right there. Just get the first down, 1st and 10 for St. Louis. Again, 6-0 because DC did fail their extra point attempt, which is something that's happened a lot this season for them. With DC especially, even though there's a lot of issues with their team, the one thing that isn't is the fact they can score like that with how their offense is constructed. So if you're St. Louis, like, it doesn't matter how much time DC has, they're going to be able to score. So if you're St. Louis, just do whatever you want. If you want to go slow, go slow. If you want to go fast, go fast. But we'll see. 1st and 10. Ball is snapped. It's a QB draw. Duggan cuts to the right. Gets to the 40 and gets out of bounds at about the 30 or about the 44-ish yard line. Going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. Still a solid play for them right there. Again, just try and get some sort of points here. 2nd and 1 for St. Louis. Wow, 2nd and 1. Decent spot right there. Five rushes, 4 pass attempts. Not shocked. Wouldn't be shocked another rush here. 2nd and 1. Sailors to his right. Wouldn't be shocked if it's a read option play here. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left. 2 seconds on the play clock. Got to snap this ball. Snap it at 0 seconds. It's a run up the middle. It is a first down. Sailors breaks the tackle and gets another 4 yards. Going to be about a 6.5 yard run for Jacob Sailors. Really solid play right there. Despite having 3 of the 4 same playoff teams, we're going to get 2 new teams in the championship game. It is true that is pretty funny to see that you had one team not make it in the Brahmas, yet you had the other team win in the USFL, and now you're going to guarantee a different team in the XFL. Definitely love to see that kind of parity going on in the UFL. 1st and 10. I mean, even if you count the XFL to the USFL, you've never had the same championship matchup kind of happen 2 years in a row. Yeah, the Stars make it every year, but you had the Stars, then you had the Maulers. Duggan slides, 0 yard gain. In fact, it's going to be about a 1/2 yard loss. Then even if you count the XFL, right, the Roughnecks didn't make the championship game, neither the Renegades, so you had a new one there with the Brahmas, and then this year you have 2 new teams making it. If it was, aside from the Stallions, it's been great seeing all the parity. Three minutes and 17 seconds left in the first quarter. 2nd and 11 for St. Louis. 2 men in the backfield with Duggan. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff to Howard. It's another QB draw. He rolls to his left. He goes back, and he's going to lose like 4 or 5 yards, depending on exactly how many yards and exactly where they give him forward progress. Again, I literally joked about it in the last game. St. Louis does this a lot where they'll do like back-to-back QB draws, really weird play calls. It worked once, but they shouldn't be doing it too much. But yeah, love to see Stars and Walls come back. Just got your Zomb pulling the Battlehawks, so they slow release doesn't kill them. Yeah, we already were talking about that a bit. It is so funny. That play was stupid. I agree. Like, you don't do back-to-back QB draws like that, especially like that. Definitely a whack play call. Already did see Duggan throwing motion hurt him, though, with that one, like, fumble. But, yes, 3rd and 14. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it to the left. It is going to be too high of a pass. Incomplete. Bad throw. They're going to be forced to punt it here. That last game, man, Bryce Perkins had an incredible game. Toa Tower had a great game. Wild one. Deion Kane had a great game. 2 quarterbacks from Birmingham, not great games, but yeah, definitely still wild that we have a new team coming from the USFL side for the first time ever. Not having Birmingham win a championship in the playoffs is wild. Going to get our 3rd ever ultra-modern era spring football champion, joining the likes of the Renegades and Stallions. Now, will it be the Defenders? Will it be the Battlehawks? Will it be the Panthers? We'll see. 4th and 14, the punt is up to the left. It is going to be caught at about the 8 yard line, returned to the, let's call it the 14-ish yard line. I do think Perkins can go there. I would be kind of shocked if no team picks him up. Again, the only issue is the injury concern, but the fact is what he's done when he's been healthy is really insane. Already, it's hard to see the Hawks pull it off. Just seems like DC versus Michigan. Yeah, because as long as DC can get one more of those deep touchdown passes, because that's what their first one was. I mean, that was an insane deep one. If they can just get that done, it's going to be really hard for them to actually win, but we'll see. Bring in Silva. 12 new posts. Let's see. UCLA is finals bound. Do not care. How is the PGA event still not over? It's been in the playoff for like an hour now. It's just like the Alcaraz thing earlier. Just insane. GM Harmon Gravero sitting in. Yeah. Notification there. 7 times in a row. Great tweet. I'm so glad I tweeted that. I hope our Lions take Perkins. It would be definitely nice for the Lions to get him, though. I think, like I've said, I know I've talked about before. I really do think that the Rams should be get him back, but we'll see. I had a feeling the tone of the game was going to be set in the first 10 minutes. DC made mistakes, and St. Louis was going to run away with it. Terrified of this peanut bread. Yeah, and now you got the issue with St. Louis. Is just like, hopefully, I think the one silver lining, if you're a St. Louis fan, is because you've seen Silvers play, he already knows the offense, and he has been playing with starting receivers. That was a big deal. So, in theory, worst case scenario, St. Louis could bench Duggan, and they'll have a quarterback who's already gotten some plays with the receivers. He hasn't gotten plays with Sailors as much, but he's gotten a lot of plays with the receivers, so that can help him out a lot. So that's the one silver lining for St. Louis fans, is no matter how bad Duggan plays, you at least have a backup that you know as a pure pocket passer is really solid. I do agree he might be the answer here. I understand that the whole point of getting rid of A.J. McCarron is to have a dual-threat quarterback, but you want a quarterback that's accurate. That was the big issue with Manny Wilkins last year. He wasn't accurate, and he looked good the first 2 weeks, then he came back, wasn't so great, then he got hurt. Duggan came in, not super accurate, had like one really great game, but that's about it. So, yeah. Saturday, June 14th. I gotta try and do something cool. I gotta try and get somebody else on that one, but we'll see. Come on, Hawks. Shannon, I hope he doesn't leave for Tennessee State. He's been, like, for how much I think DC is going to lose this game still, Shannon Harris, it would be great to see him stay. He's been really solid for a head coach for them. He's like what Moose thinks Curtis Johnson is. just had we didn't throw enough shade at Curtis Johnson last stream. Had to throw a little jab in there. The offensive fireworks. Yeah, 70 passing TDs, but mostly by a while. By a wide margin for sure. 345 total yards a game is pretty wild for this league, really is. But we'll see. Can DC score again? 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Two minutes left in the first quarter. They are lined up with 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back to the left of Teamu. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick throw to the right or to the left to Roland, who gets about a -1 yard. They might give him forward progress at the line of scrimmage, but I don't think so, but we'll see. Let's go, Hawks, says Brett. If they can get a stop here, it'll be huge. Again, DC's offense in a lot of ways is just F it, go deep, and if it doesn't work out, it's usually not a good one, so there still is definitely a shot for them, but we'll see if they can get a stop here. Great offensive line. Still, while the running game isn't as good as you would think it is for how good of a line they have. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it over the middle. It is going to be incomplete. He threw it a bit too far behind Roland. Not a great throw right there. If the defenders win for me, the championship game would be a pure bliss. Loving this. Browns make me very sad this season. This will make me happy if it happens, I say. Brahmas, man. It still is such a shame how... I mean, like, the whole A.J. Smith situation with him coming out and trying to basically flame the GM and then all the players flaming A.J. It's made this... It's made for a really rough retrospect. Like, this is a team I could make a video on in the future if I really wanted to about how much insane stuff there's. Like, it was wild. 3rd and 10, ball is snapped. Tiamu looks to the middle of the field, looks to his left. Rolling to his right in the pocket. Still running to his right. He might go for it here. Nope, he throws it. It is going to be caught at the sideline by Chris Rowland for a first down. Rowland with a nice catch right there. 42 seconds left. There should be about 1 more play left in the first quarter. Silvers did toss the pigskin around pretty good last week and a half. Silvers is a quicker release. Oh, a quicker release is like, I mean, he got that like lightning fast compared to his Duggan. I mean, they're already talking about it earlier. It's so true. The Duggan release, though, when he has to pull the ball fully down to throw it, it's such an awkward throwing motion. Takes so much time. Definitely a rough one for him. Ball is snapped, fake the handoff. Throw to the right. It is going to be caught again. About a first down and about 4 more yards. I believe that was Powell who got the catch right there. Nice one. I literally fell to my knees when I heard AJ say he wanted to get McCarron for this season. Yeah, I want to get McCarron. They said no, and they tried to get him back in week 9. Like, really? Like, my goodness. Like, you were, like, the GM was that set on Kellen Mond. You think 23-year Orlando Guardians beat the Brahmas? Yes. I know point differential isn't everything, but I mean, the Brahmas, like, shattered that record. They gave you, like, 3 decent offensive showings, and the rest of the season was just rough. Like, I think the Maulers and Guardians would be close, but I think they'd lose. I think the Brahmas would still lose. Shannon Harris done a great job this year, for sure. I did not think DC was going to be that good this year. They've been much better than I expected them to be, and a lot of that is Shannon Harris's coaching job. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. If Mon wasn't a San Antonio native, I don't think it would have been so sudden. Honestly, a good point. I think that it was definitely a big point, was the fact that he was this Texas guy. You know, it's like, I think it was what A&M he went to, which, and then he was born in San Antonio, so it's that kind of thing. But, like, I mean, the show got rid of Cole Kelly despite him being, you know, like, or not Cole Kelly, but Brady White, I think was, like, sometimes you gotta just go for the better guy. You know, if you're trying to win, come on. That was a legit throw. Maybe I'm underestimating Tua. Let's see over here. Posted. Big first down. Can't believe. Did not want to post that. Did not want to do that. Nice. Go up there. What a moment for sure. I watched him be not exceptional too many times, but maybe he is decent. Did not mean to open that. Mean to open that either. There we go. Man, this feels so weird. So again, we're still in the quarter break right now, but yeah, we'll see. Still can't believe that the Panthers actually won. Adrian, anybody will beat the Brahmas. Possibly a high school team. Okay. You think St. Louis win, bro? I think they still have a shot. Again, it's definitely very scary seeing DC get the first touchdown and how they're playing right now, not having to throw the deep ball. I think a lot of it is going to be, are they willing to pull Duggan if need be to go to Silvers? Because the fact that the thing with St. Louis is this is a game where if it becomes a high-scoring game, St. Louis just can't win. Like, I hate to say it, but if this becomes like a 30-24 kind of game, St. Louis is kind of screwed. But if it's a lower-scoring game with how good their defense is, they can win that. So I think they need to stop DC here, or at least hold them to a field goal, and then score the next drive, and I think they're very much in it. That's what it comes down to. I think I said if DC puts up 25 points, St. Louis loses. Like, that's kind of the max is 24 points that St. Louis can score, not counting overtime. So if DC puts up more than 24, I think that's the magic number. So St. Louis needs to prevent a touchdown on this drive. So we'll see if they can stop it. 1st and 10 for the defenders. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Gets to the 50. Aaron Smith gets the first down. Not great right there. That's what I mean by not exceptional. Maybe he's finally going to step up to the next level. I mean, he's definitely, the last few weeks of the season, he definitely was looking a lot better than in the past. But I think that he's definitely one of those guys that you know he's going to be a practice squad NFL guy, spring football guy. It's not like somebody who you think is going to stay as a backup. That's kind of how I view him. 1st and 10 for the defenders. They fake the handoff, quick throw to the right. It's going to be caught by Roland, who gets about 8 yards on the gain right there. We got to make the decision at half. Duggan gets score on God. St. Louis has had the highest scoring game the past 3 years in regular season. It is pretty wild. But we'll see what ends up happening here. Because, I mean, that's the thing. It's a regular season. In the playoffs, they usually don't. Like, of course, the game last year, they couldn't score that many points. And the past few weeks with Duggan, they had, like, the one good week. But this team, like, with Duggan, is just not built for a shootout. They get about 5 yards on the ground right there. There we go. 1st and 10 for the DC defenders. 13.5 minutes left. 3 receivers to the right. Running back to the right as well. They're in field goal range. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. It is going to be about a... Wow, he just ended up getting like 3 yards extra. It's a 4-yard gain right there. You gotta admit, pulling for defenders, but we'll be okay. The Hawks winning, totally okay. I mean, hey, it would at least have an incredible championship game in terms of attendance. 2023 Abrams just came back for one play right now. True. 2nd and 4 right now for the defenders. Now, a big thing to note is Matt McCrane has not been his usual self past few weeks. I guess he had the one block, but he has been missing a decent amount of field goals. So in terms of special teams advantage, you do have an advantage over St. Louis, which could definitely help him out. Fake the handoff, quick throw to the right is going to be caught for... Ooh, I don't think Powell got it. I think Cornell was like about half a yard shy. They could give it to him, but I think it's about a half yard shy. They gave him the first down. Kind of shocked at that, but it is what it is. Yeah, if you're St. Louis, you definitely got to try and not let him score a touchdown. It is important, though, that with how DC plays, you can stop them on the extra point attempt, make it a 12-0 game. It's not too bad, and you get the ball at half. You can still be very much in it, so we'll see how that ends up going. 1st and 10 for DC with 12 minutes and 20 seconds left. 2 seconds left in the play clock. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right. Gets to the first down, and he gets that. That might be the... If you're St. Louis, you got to hope that's the one big Deion Jackson run. He just got about 16 yards. It's 1st and goal about the 4-yard line. If that's only one of the big runs for Deion Jackson, that might be bad for St. Louis. But if that's his only one, you have a shot, because he usually guarantees you at least one 15-yard plus run. That was a great play by Jackson. The defense just kind of got beat by him. Can't let that happen again, though. Ooh, he's going to be down about the 3-yard line. My bad. Yeah, it's going to be close. Yeah, if you're St. Louis, you got to be thinking about going to Silvers quickly. Like, this next drive might be the last drive you see of Duggan unless he scores. 1st and goal for DC. Timeout's going to be called by DC. They were getting down to about 1 second in the play clock left. With the Steins losing, we're all winners next year, so I'm good. It is true. It is great to see that we're going to have a new champion that is, isn't Birmingham in a league that they're in, but it definitely does hurt that if St. Louis misses it again, that you're not going to have that home crowd. But yeah, Hawks got to score 30 plus to win. Agreed, Carey. Cool name of OC Fred. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Hawks, it's... If you can make this the last score DC gets, because I said earlier I think that 25 is the limit. If DC puts up 25, I think that they win. I think that St. Louis is not going to put up more than 24 points in this game, but I think if it's under that, I think St. Louis is going to win because of their defense. Basically, I think that it's over under 25 points who wins. As long as there is an extra Edenwell. True. 1st and goal for them. The huge running lanes are concerning. Yeah, especially with this DC team getting ground game. I mean, I joked about it, but it's true. If this DC ground game is even somewhat decent, that's bad. 1st and goal. Hand it off. They prevent the touchdown, or do they? He gets pushed forward for a touchdown. St. Louis could not stop him. That's not good. It is 12-0 DC over St. Louis. Bad by St. Louis. They should have been able to stop that, but they got just out-muscled right there. That's not what you want to see. Not good right now. They just said the crowd is getting quiet. That's not what you want to see. This is like a make-or-break drive for St. Louis. Again, if they do not score, Duggan is probably getting benched, or at least should get benched, but we'll see. DC is going to go for 2 here. This is the right call. They're not really good at extra points at all, but if you get it, you want to actually get something solid here. I like the call to go for 2 here. Let's see if they can get it. Drop back to throw. Throw to the right. It is going to be caught, and it is good. It is 14-0. That is not good. 14-0 DC over St. Louis. So lead is currently 14-0 with 11 minutes, 28 seconds left. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick. It's been like literally 4.5 hours. So I'll be right back. Alright, we back? We back. As long as there's next year, back will not be the big... Well, it's not beating the big game allegations. Oh, my goodness. I would love the upset best thing for the league. See the Battlehawks lift the trophy, so I'm okay either way. Still win with trust. Honestly, any team besides Birmingham winning is good for the league. True. I had to say it, but this could turn to... Oh, don't say that. That's rough. Doesn't make sense that it's the best for the league in particular. Team wins or doesn't win. Root for everyone, of course. Back's home crowd would be nuts to go for TV of the league. It would definitely be a thing for everyone but Stallions fan. The same thing happened last year. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with St. Louis making it is what really mattered. I think that Birmingham, with St. Louis making it, obviously going to be much better for TV. You're going to have a huge crowd there. It's going to look really good on TV. And then having another champion win is just going to be great. Like, that's the thing. It's not necessarily better or worse if St. Louis versus DC wins. It's just a matter of St. Louis being in the game means you're going to have a much, much higher amount of people actually at the game, which makes it look a lot better on TV. That's the biggest issue with last year's game, was you had this announced attendance number that was nowhere near true, which hurt. Duggan is in shotgun, ball is snapped, looks to the middle of the field. Quick throw is going to be caught at the 30-yard line. Gets the first down, makes the hurdle, gets down about the 41-yard line. Great play by Jake Sutherland right there. First down, St. Louis. Now the regular season was over with last week. I hope the league can do more to promote their product as well as city leaders for sure. Definitely need to see that right there. Definitely what you want for sure. First attempt for the Battlehawks. Got 1 second left. Got to call it. Yep. Look the middle of the field. Duggan's going to run. Cuts to the right. Makes a man miss. Gets about 5 yards in the play. Really love it right there. Yeah, that was a nice hurdle. That was not one of your Bryce Perkins tries to hurdle. Doesn't even get close. That was a great hurdle. Really is a shame that Saquon's going to have a bad year this year. Sucks that he's going to fall off. Had to be on the Madden cover, man. Prayers out to Saquon. He got put on the Madden cover. Just a rough thing for him right there, man. As the saying goes, it is what it is, right? 2nd and 4 for the Battlehawks. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Sailors gets the first down, and then about another 4 yards. He's still on his feet. He gets another 3 yards. It's going to be about a 11-yard rush right there. Loving right now. Now all of a sudden I'm hoping the Hawks get in this. Hey, you want it to be at least a good game. You know, you can prefer one team to win or lose, but you definitely want it to be at least a good game. So that's what you really care about. But we'll see. Massive. 1st and 10 for them. Let's see if they can get this one here. 9.5 minutes left in the second quarter. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Duggan looks to the middle of the field, looks to the left. He's rolling up again, and he gets sacked. He loses a couple of yards. Again, he was trying to do something really good, and he just ended up kind of backfiring on it. Just not a good play right there. Lost some yards. Not great. Going to be under 9 minutes left in the half, and it's going to be less than, or it's going to be 2nd down, and about like 13-ish, depending exactly where they give him progress. Second and 14, so they did have him lose almost all the yards. Again, it's going to be under 9 minutes left in the half. St. Louis desperately needs to score something here, try to eat up more clock. Both teams still have, or DC has 2 timeouts, St. Louis has 3. Both teams have their super challenge. In shotgun, ball is snapped. They hand it off, and it is going to be about a half-yard loss for the Battlehawks. Not great right there. Going to be 3rd and long for the Battlehawks. I will say, I can't believe we're 11 weeks into the season and Fox never changed the DC part of the score bug. Because even now, you can barely tell whether or not they have or don't have their challenge. Really sucks they never fixed that. 3rd and 14 for the Battlehawks. They need to get at least like 7 yards to make them in field goal range. It'll be a long field goal range, but it still will be in field goal range. Let's see. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. It's a QB draw. Again, yep. Speaking of predictable, that was a terrible play call right there. Just lost another like 3 yards. Going to be forced upon it. I don't know. A Silvers comeback wouldn't be absolutely epic. I agree. They need to put Silvers in. I'm actually going to tweet that. Put Silvers in. Duggan is not it right now. Yeah, you definitely got to put Silvers in at this point. This is just getting rough. The UFL Championship, they do have conference gear. So, yes, there is gear for the Panthers after the championship stuff. So, yeah, my wallet's going to take a hit, but it is what it is. Ryan Fox gets the win. Took him long enough. My God. Now, let's see. How much are these shirts going to be? Oh, no. Oh, I don't want to look. Oh, $45. Oh, no. They have a matchup pin, bro. They really selling everything here. I don't know. We'll see you next week. Penalty on DC. Duggan ain't good. He's like an RB we said all year. Second half might be smart to go. Yeah, they need to put in silvers. I wouldn't even say second half. I'd say like literally if they get the ball back again, they need to put in silvers. Definitely not good. $45 for conference shirt. The only issue is I have so many damn shirts, but the hat, I don't know. We'll see. If they win the championship, I'm gonna get that, but I don't know. Just cool. They have a ton of merch. They also have a rally towel, a keychain, matchup pin. They got a lot of stuff that I didn't know they had. Silvers need to go to the next drive. Yeah, agreed. He really does. Dude, my shoulder feels so weird still. The Durham shield is so awkward to wear. Like, once it's been like 3 days, it just feels so weird. DC about to start pulling white. Yeah, I mean, you have to put in silvers because he's just not looking good. Duggan is not looking great right now. Because the issue with the play calling is, like, the whole point of them getting rid of McCarron was to be able to do quarterback draws and stuff. But you've been so obvious and predictable when it comes to actually doing quarterback draws that teams can see it and counter it. So it's just not great right there. They definitely need to go to silvers. You need the guy that is a consistent pocket passer and, more importantly, makes the play calling actually good. Because that's a big issue, is that your play calling is, in theory, it should be opened up. But for this staff, it's opened up too much. It's almost like Radkowski's back calling plays. Because instead of spamming screens like Eric Radkowski did, you're spamming quarterback draws for God knows why, when sometimes do something else. Like, you're at 3rd and 14. Why would you do a quarterback draw? If you're going to run it, have your running back run it or just throw it. But it is what it is. You know, shame, but what are you going to do? Dude, I'm just trying to look something up. Come on, man. Search. Folks. Oh, that's so cringe. Do. 4,800, my goodness. I'm just looking at stuff real quick. Oof. AF Express, true. Classic. The Battlehawks need to do something. On God. Max Duggan, bro, put in silvers. I knew it was a bad call when they put in silvers that one half. I was like, man, if he plays well, it's going to look really bad for St. Louis. And, man, it's looked really bad. Bad snap! Who gets it? It looks like DC got it, but it's going to be like 2-yard loss. But there's a flag. This could be either an offsides or a false start. You would think they'd just switch RPOs every play instead of draws, actually do using dual threat quarterback. Oh, true. I mean, the play calling is so bad. It's like you got rid of Gradkowski, but the Gradkowski offense is still there. Offsides in the defense. Travis Feeney, so it is going to be against St. Louis. Rough penalty for them right there. That would have been so great. Instead, you're now getting a penalty. Not what you want to see right there. See what's on Twitter. See if other people are saying what I'm saying. Need more people to say put silvers in. Pete Alonso still trending. Love to see it. Let me search up silvers. Am I going to see stuff come up? Yeah, seeing a lot of people saying put silvers in, that's actually beautiful. Love to see it. Love to see the hate for a quarterback not playing well. Hate, shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it. 1st and 10 for the defenders. Looks like they might call timeout here. Nope, they're going to go for it. 4 seconds left in the play clock. Ball snapped. Looks to the right side of the field. Quick throw over the middle. It's going to be caught, but it's going to be shy, about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. You're St. Louis, you got to stop them here. If DC scores on this drive, it's borderline game over. It's pretty hard to think that St. Louis is going to be able to put up that many points that quickly and stop DC the rest of the game. You can stop them here, put in silvers, get at least a field goal, then score it the second half. You can make this really close again. So if you're DC, you just got to score, though. If you're St. Louis, you got to stop them here. This is one of those drives that could be a huge determining factor in who wins the game. 2nd and 2 for DC. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball. Ball is snapped, looks to the right side of the field. It's going to be a deep pass to the right side. And it bounces off the St. Louis defender helmet. Solid play by him, even though he didn't turn around. It just bounced right off his head. Good play overall, 3rd and 2. You're going to force DC to have to do something here. Again, if you don't get the first down here, even if it's within a yard, you're probably forced to punt it because of where you are on the field. This is a very, very big play for St. Louis. That was a great throw by Teamo. Just literally right perfect the back of the helmet. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Hit directly the back of the helmet of Jones. That's actually hilarious. 3rd and 2. You got to stop him here if you're St. Louis. Let's see if they can do it here. The light up Battlehawks chain. Ball is snapped. It's a delayed handoff. And they get the first down. They whiffed on the tackle. They get down to the 30-yard line. They should have been able to stop him, but they kind of whiffed on it, and it was a first down. That is the play that against almost any other team, they stop DC. That is a rough play to give up by St. Louis defense. This defense is supposed to be the best unit in the league, and that is the kind of play that you cannot give up against this DC team. First down DC at the 30-yard line. Might give them to about the 31-yard line, but really about the 30-yard line is all that matters. GTA 4, man. 4 or 5. 6. I don't remember which one is which. St. Louis can't stop DC. Yeah, it's not looking like they can so far. Fake the handoff, quick throw to the left. It's going to be caught out of bounds by Powell, who goes for about 7 yards in the gain. 4.5 minutes left in the half. Four and a half minutes left, 2nd and 4. Two receivers to the left, 2 to the right, running back to his left in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped. Gets pressured, rolls out to his right. He's getting chased, he throws it. It's going to be caught for a first down. Abram Smith gets the reception. Again, just not looking good for St. Louis defense right now. There's going to be under 4 minutes left when this next play happens. This is not looking good for St. Louis. Again, St. Louis still does have 3 timeouts, so they still could try and get the ball again and score. But as we mentioned before, at this point, you have to think about putting in Brandon Silvers. Silver's been a very consistent passer. Yes, he has only played in, a game and a half. But we've seen a lot of Max Duggan, and he's been a very inconsistent quarterback. He is giving you one of his cold games. You cannot keep him in there if he's going to keep playing like this. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Quick throw to the right. Is intercepted. Teamu throws his trademark bad throw, and it's down to the 25. Out of bounds about the 20. Horrible throw by Teamu. I don't know if that was a miscommunication. That was a mallet of a throw. I got to see the replay on that one. That was a rough one. St. Louis gets the interception. That's huge for them. I still stand by. You got to put in Silvers here. You got to try and get some points on the board here. Mad Max is not doing so great. You got to put in Silvers here if you want to win your St. Louis. But right there, that's an awful throw by Teamu. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that throw by Teamu. That was so bad. That's so rough. My goodness. This interception means nothing about us. Don't score a touchdown. At least a field goal. I mean, if they don't at least put up a field goal, it's so bad. If Bex loses this game, do you bring him back next year? I can't believe you're saying that, and I can't believe that I kind of agree on that. Like, he won games. Like, look, usually the game against Arlington, the rematch, he would have lost that one, Birmingham, but, like, he still would. He's still one of the coaches that definitely cares the most. He's up there to stay there. I would definitely still keep him, but it would really show that he might not be able to win the big game. Because, I mean, that would be essentially 3 playoff games in a row he's lost if you count the Seattle Sea Dragons game in Week 9. So, yeah. or a -6 waiting to happen, especially with Talma throwing. Stick with Duggan. Nah, we got to put in Silvers. This is what we got to do. Absolutely wild interception right there for Talma to throw. Just a classic Talma moment there. Like, that's such a classic Talma moment, throwing a bad interception like that. It's a classic. Oh, I did that much. Wow. Oh. Not what I wanted to look up. Let's see what this sold for. Looking at something real quick. He's good for at least one in every game. Yeah, the good old classic Te'amu moment, really. Like, honestly, it is such a classic Te'amu moment. Throwing that kind of pass at that kind of scenario. Like, you just know he's going to do it once in a while. And you're just sitting there like, bruh, ain't no way he going to do it again. And it's like, you just know it's happening. It's so sad, but it's so true. It just... Let's see the replay. Okay, I got to see this replay. I got to see exactly just how bad this is. Okay, so he drops back to throw. He immediately looks to his right. Okay. Staring down his receiver. Oh, that was an awful throw. I mean, even if that was a miscommunication, that was just a straight up awful throw. That's definitely on Te'amu. He completely whiffed that one. My goodness. Definitely a rough one. Really bad throw. Hate to say it, but that was a bad one. Rough one for him there. Silvers comes in, instantaneous touchdown occurs. Ball is snapped. It is still Duggan in there. He throws to the left, and it is going to be almost intercepted, but it is DPI. That's probably DPI. He rips his helmet off. That could be another penalty. I don't know exactly. I don't remember. DeAndre Baker gets it. Let's see what this flag is. DC saying it should be face mask. St. Louis is saying it should be a DPI. Let's see. Back would be a great choice to the Battlehawks. That's what I just said. Took his helmet off, gets a penalty. So it looks like it's going to be offsetting penalties because of DeAndre Baker doing something stupid. Ripping his helmet off for God knows why, because he was upset at a penalty call. Nope, and it's still DPI. That's great. So, DeAndre Baker, oh my goodness. Unsportsmanlike conduct. So they just get hit with 2 penalties back-to-back. Shannon does have a challenge if he wants to use it, but because of the post-game play, I believe that all it would do is make offsetting penalties if he calls it. Well, no, because it was after the play, so I don't even think it would do that. So if you're Shannon Harris, I don't even think it's worth challenging this here, technically speaking. Yeah, I wouldn't challenge this if I'm Shannon Harris. Number one, I don't think challenging it does anything, but I do think yeah. I can't believe he ripped his helmet off like that. That's something that that's like, so, you should never do that. They hand the ball off to Sailors, and it's a touchdown. That's what they needed to do back against Arlington in like week 4. They needed to just hand the ball off to Jacob Sailors. They did it right there. Sailors gets in the end zone, 14-6. Battlehawks are back in this game. Again, that's what the team was missing a long time ago, was having Sailors not run it. They need to realize they have a great running back. Even if he's had a somewhat down year compared to last year, he's still arguably the best running back in the league. At worst, he's like the second best running back in the league. Use him. Great call right there, just running up the middle with Sailors. They're back in this game. It's an 8-point game. Let's see if they go for 1 or 2 here. Going for 1 here. Let's see if they can get this one. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second quarter. Ball is snapped. They pitch it forward, and it's going to be a 6-yard loss, so it's going to be an unsuccessful try. It is still an 8-point game. Massive right there for him. Dude, why does it still hurt? So it is back in this game. It is now an 8-point game. Again, I still stand by they need to think about putting in Silvers in there. That drive was literally nothing Duggan did. He just literally handed it off and threw one ball that was incomplete. That wasn't even a great pass. And got a penalty, another penalty, and ran it in. So I would still think about going to Silvers, but that's still huge for St. Louis. Again, they get the ball at half, so they can just prevent DC from scoring here. They don't need to score again. They just need to not let DC score. They can then go into half, come out of the half, being at a really solid number. Go look this up. Put those back up there. Oh, I missed that one, didn't I? Yes, I did. There we go. Showing the commercial now. Birmingham's down. It's what happened. Sub Adam. This is exactly why I didn't feel comfortable yet, even though DC was up 2 scores, because stuff like this can happen. I mean, definitely pretty wild what's going on right now. This is the only time being a Brahmas fan is fun this season, since no matter what, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Keep Duggan in. I want the defenders to win, lol. I would hope not. I mean, you got to realize, I mean, if you're at back, you hopefully realize that, like, man, literally Duggan did nothing that drive. You still got to view it as it's 14-0 with the quarterback. But yeah, even though DC was up 2 scores, I mean, it's the biggest issue is Teamu. I mean, he is. I think it was Jordan Loving Glazer joked about saying he's expecting like a 400-yard, 4-touchdown, 4-interception game from Teamu. That's the biggest issue with him, is that he had a couple great weeks, but there's still that question mark of him doing throws, because that interception was such a bad pass. But yeah, Sailors saved Duggan. True. 7-9 new champs. I would love to get that shirt and hat, but like I would not love to spend $70 on it. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Just Donald Trump pulled a Joe Biden, fell on the Air Force One. Ain't no way. That's actually hilarious. Presidents think alike. It's high mind. 14-6. DC over St. Louis. I can't believe you ripped his helmet off like that. That is so insane. That's the kind of play right there that no matter how well you play in this, like, let's not joke about it for a second. What DeAndre Baker did there is the kind of play that's going to prevent you from going to an NFL team. That single play could legitimately deter all 32 teams from signing you. Because that's the kind of penalty that is what is deemed as an inexcusable penalty. There is no defending that as a player. To rip your own helmet off when you know that is a penalty 10 out of 10 times is it's what a boneheaded penalty is. It's one that's inexcusable. That's the kind of penalty that's going to prevent you from getting on an NFL roster. I hope for his sake that he still ends up getting another shot because he had a great season overall. But if he doesn't make a roster or even get that many workouts, go back to that play. That's why he doesn't. Return is up to the 35-yard line. Going to be down about the 36-yard line for DC. Pretty solid return right there. 14-6, 3 minutes and 4 seconds left. Back-to-back DC interceptions incoming. You kind of want DC to pull off the upset. On paper, easy road to the championship. Yeah, I mean, it is an easy road. I know DC... I know DC, the Michigan game was a total blowout, but yeah, it is kind of true that you do, if you're a Michigan fan and you're just purely wanting to win, you do want DC, but I hope it's St. Louis. I just want to have a really good championship game, and I think that's going to be an incredible one. St. Louis versus Michigan would be great. 3 minutes and 4 seconds left for DC. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, ball is snapped. They hand it off, and it's going to be about a 2-yard gain for the DC defenders. Now, again, I know we brought about this earlier. Kelvin Joseph is not on the field for the DC defenders. For those of you who do not know what happened, he was involved in a crash where at least the reports initially was that he was driving under the influence and ended up killing somebody. It was a tragic incident, and it's so inexcusable to do that in 2025 with all these things, Lyft, Uber, being able to call somebody. So he is obviously not playing today, and let's just say he's probably never seeing a field again. 2nd and 7 for the DC defenders. Ball is snapped. Throws it to the left. Is going to be caught about 2 yards shy. Gets the first down. Gets to the 50. Gets to the 45. Gets out of bounds about the 41.5-yard line right there. 2 minutes and 26 seconds left in the half. Panthers right here. Maybe the worst team win this game. May the worst team win this game. Ball is snapped. Teamu runs. It was a read option fake, and he gets about 8 yards in the play. The Mike Emmett Sports that bad news. It was definitely awful to hear that one. Yeah, definitely. If you're just trying to win as the Panthers, you definitely want DC to win. It's definitely an on-paper better matchup for them. But we'll see. And we're hitting like the 2-minute warning now. If St. Louis can stop them here, they're very much in this game, but we'll see. Michigan. Just seeing what comes up when you search up Michigan Panthers, seeing how many things are talking about this. Birmingham Stallions, they were so solid, but couldn't get it done. Just the Lions, that's actually wild. Go back over here, look at some stuff. Okay. 2 days, Tuesday. DC, there we go, get those 2 tabs back open. Again, we'll see exactly how this goes, but again, if you're St. Louis, you got to stop them from scoring. I think that I still stand by the fact that 25 points is the magic number for DC to win this game. St. Louis, you just have to get this one stop. You don't have to score this half because you get the ball in the next half. We'll see. Pacers v Thunder starting soon. It's gonna be a game. I guess I'm gonna watch it because there's nothing else on tonight really. But I barely could care less who wins, honestly. But we'll see. It will be hilarious if Caruso and the Thunder win, just because it's like the Lakers get another FU. Like, you got rid of Caruso for what? Like, didn't they trade for like THC or something like that? Taylor Horton Tucker for like. Somewhat, but whatever. Perkins for the Panthers is on fire right now. I do hope he wins MVP. I know that it's still, even though he got the All-UFL nod, it's the question of are they giving him the All-UFL nod and giving Teamu the MVP? What's the deal? I hope he gets it, but if not, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully he can get the championship, because this is, of course, a nice win for him, but we'll see. Yeah, McDowell's. Showing that game earlier, 44-29. That was some sort of game right there. Absolutely insane. Love seeing it. First time ever the Stallions did not hoist the USFL Championship trophy, by the way. Even if the Panthers lose in the championship game, they did hoist the USFL trophy. No other team has ever done that, so that is definitely huge to see that. Of course, in this era, which you love to see. The XFL trophy, dude. It's so bad. I mean, I'm sorry. It's such a bad trophy. Like, they put like 3 different ideas on one. I think it's hilarious. Is what it is. 218 yards to 67 is hilarious as well. 3 receivers to the right. Ball is snapped. Teamu hands the ball off. It's going to be a first down and then about another 5 yards. Actually, about a 6-yard, so about a 9-yard gain. Solid ones right there. I think the UFL is on to 4-device night. Defenders hire Adam Gase. That Cobra. Players voted for that. Not sure it's the same. Yeah, I don't think it is. I know the awards are usually coaching stuff, but I hope it says something. We'll see. XFL MVP trophy, just a little X. Hey, I honestly do like that trophy. I gotta be honest. I think the championship MVPs for both leagues, because I remember the USFL was just the star. I actually did like both those ones, but the XFL championship trophy was a rough one. Minute and a half left for DC. They are in field goal range. Ball is snapped. They try to throw it to the right. It's going to be incomplete, so it's going to be 2nd and 10. I have a hard time with TV in 1 device. I mean, hey, I've gotten a lot better with 2 devices. I mean, hell, some of this I've been doing 3, but I've got the TV on. I got this one, but yeah. AFL is just okay at best. Yards per play, 7.1. The fact this is such a close game despite the yard discrepancy is hilarious. Let's see what DC can do here. The XFL Championship looks like 2nd and 10 for DC. 1 minute and 24 seconds left. Ball is snapped. Looks in the middle of the field. Rolls to his right. Throws it. Is going to be incomplete. No one near. Is there a legit expansion news? There has not been any expansion news so far. Like, there has been nothing that's really come out. The only thing that technically came out was the UFL News Hub article making it sound like it's going to stick with 8 teams, but A lot of questions because apparently the interview they did was like weeks ago, but the article just came out. So how believable is it? It's UFL News Hub. Don't really know. In terms of official news, there hasn't been any news since again like week 3 when like Ace was talking to Russ Brandon. Hasn't been anything since then. One minute 18 seconds left in the half. 3rd and 10 for DC. St. Louis has 3 timeouts, so in theory, as long as they can stop them here, they can go for another field goal or touchdown, so we'll see. Going to Subway now. Nice. Get a nice Subway or get a nice W sub. Haven't had Subway in a minute. But yeah, I mean, we're getting close to halftime, so yeah. Sad dragon noises. 3rd and 10 for DC. First step stats analysis. I really hope they add some sort of halftime stuff next year, but we'll see. Let's see. Do we have anything going on in the Twitter space while we're in this? Back to back. I love that show in last year. It's just hilarious. Ronaldo trending. I still can't believe he's trending right now because he got that trophy win. Bring me a cookie. I love the UFL because unlike the NFL, you can actually enjoy one game. The NFL, on the other hand, try to enjoy. You have to watch your red zone. Pick your game to watch. 3rd and 10 for the defenders. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Peta's got him. He doesn't get the sack. It's caught. Roland is stopped about 1.5 yards shy of the first down marker. That's the one thing that sucks whenever the league does expand is that odds are no matter how few teams they add, it's going to mean you're going to have a regional game every single week. As long as it's just 1, I think it's fine. I think 2 is the max. But that's definitely going to suck when the league does that because I think it's all but a guarantee that whenever they expand, they're going to be forced to have a regional game every week. But, you know, we'll see. 4th and 2. In theory, DC is going to kick this, meaning that St. Louis will have 2 timeouts and roughly about 1 minute and 7 seconds. And then they'll obviously have to do the return to try and score. They need to get this to stay in 8-point games. They need to get at least a field goal. We'll see. I'll be back when I get home. My phone is about to die, bruh. But hopefully your phone gets charged soon. See you in a bit whenever you get back. 4th and 2, kick it. I agree. They need to kick it here if you're DC. Get the 3 points. Again, you just got to get to that magic 25 number. I truly believe that. But you need to score something here. Just kick the field goal. They're probably going to try to drive them off sides. I wouldn't go for it. But, you know, if you do it and you get it, it's going to be huge. But I would just kick it. Bro, what do they think? They think they're the shirtless pyramid? Ain't no way. 4th and 2. 15 seconds left in the play clock. Yep, they use their timeout. They're going to kick it, obviously. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Gonna kick it here. I agree with that. That's correct decision. Kick the field goal, make it 17-6, get that 11-point lead, force St. Louis to try and score at the end of this half, and then try to get the double dip. Because again, if you're St. Louis, you kick a field goal, you make it back to being, you know, that 8-point game, and you get a touchdown or a field goal in the next drive, it'll, you know, you're right back in it. So I do like the decision to kick it if you're DC. You gotta just keep putting up the points on the board. We saw earlier how big a deal it is to just keep scoring. Of course, Birmingham did miss that one field goal. Michigan just kept scoring, so yeah. Well, UFL News Hub tried saying that there's not going to be expansion this year, but again, nothing's been confirmed. The last thing we heard was in like week 3 or 4 where we had 2 different people saying different information. Hasn't been anything that's actually been said officially yet, so we don't know. Kick is up and it is good. UFL, the official UFL has not said that. I mean, that's something that probably UFL Update did say because they said something about expansion being likely. But it has not been said officially. The league would have made a true announcement. They wouldn't have said it's likely or something. 1 minute and 6 seconds left for St. Louis to try and score here. I think right now the UFL is just testing the waters and potential markets. Wouldn't be super shocked at that. DC 15-20. It is kind of shocking how poor their field goal unit has been this year, but I think they've had like a 2 or 3 blocks this year, and then McCrane has missed a couple. So it's definitely been not great for them. Still itchy. Still can't believe we're not even at halftime yet. 7:45. I know the game started like 25 minutes later than they initially said it was going to start. But the fact that we're going to be probably here till like 9:30 is going to be rough. For me, at least. Is what it is, though. You know, the saying goes, it is what it is. Will there be an announcement in the championship game? What I heard? Pretty much the ongoing theory is that if the league is in fact expanding this year, it's going to be announced during the championship game. That has been the belief for a long time. Even the last PFN article that James Larson made about it is that if expansion is in fact going to happen this year, which there's still a very good shot it does, is it will be announced during the championship game. I would imagine if there's any other team movement, it would also be announced the championship game. I think it'd be really weird to not do it. Just because of the fact that that's when you have the most eyes on the product, so in theory, during halftime, you should have that announcement. We'll see for sure at the game, obviously, but that is the ongoing theory, is that if, in fact, there is expansion, it's going to happen there. I have heard that there's been no insider information in regards to expansion, pretty much since, like, week 3, that whatever you all know is basically what everyone else knows. So nobody knows for sure about anything regarding that, but we'll see next week on Saturday. No problem, no problem. Yeah, because I know a lot of you are saying a lot of things about regarding of certain teams and season ticket stuff. Important to note that just because a team put out season tickets does not mean it's going to stay. Of course, the XFL had season ticket outs and they didn't. It's not saying that a team is or is not. You just don't know until it happens, but we'll see. St. Louis, 6 of 15. All these teams trying to go for 1 now, and they just ain't Michigan. Come on, Hawks. We need to get possibly a field goal, make it 9-12. Then get back the ball at half, make it 16-12, and defense stops. I can't see Memphis moving. Hopefully when the stadium is done renovating, the tents will be better. Plus, get more students to the facility. They definitely need, and this is for all the teams, definitely need to use their local colleges more. The fact that these teams are not using all the advantages they have is pretty annoying. Like, if you're Michigan, use any single Michigan team that's near you. If you're Birmingham, use, like, all of those. Like, it's pretty wild they're not using a lot of these local colleges to try and boost tickets. Definitely a massive L for the league. Return is up to the 20 to 25 and out of bounds. Like, I had a friend who went to ASU, and she talked about when the Coyotes were there, that they had special deals for students to go to the games. The UFL needs to have something like that. So, yeah. Hopefully they do, but we'll see. I mean, the UFL should go back to the USFL ticket prices, but they've been doing the opposite of that, so you don't know. It's over. What's over? So let's see what St. Louis does here. Again, St. Louis needs to score something here. Still have Duggan in the game. Questionable decision. Minute left. This might be his last drive of the game if he doesn't do something here. Rough throw right there. They're calling that a catch. They are calling that a catch. That was a rough throw by him. Shocked they're not calling a timeout here, going too fast. They need to go a bit faster here. They only got 2 timeouts left. It's about 7 seconds they've wasted. Wasting more time. 40 seconds. Wow, they're wasting way too much time here. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Looks to the left. Throws it deep in the middle. It is going to be incomplete. Oh, that looked like it was a double fall. Looks like Jennings should have caught it. He had both hands on it, but at least on initial viewing, it looked like it was a bit too high of a pass. Love to see a replay, see if that's fully on Jennings or if that's on Duggan a bit more. Let's see this replay, because at first glance, it looked like it was on both of them. It was in the hands, but it was an overthrow. That was on both of them. It was both hands on the ball, but it was also an overthrow. That's on both of them. Yes, Jennings should have caught that, but at the same token, Duggan should have thrown a better pass there. That was a beautiful wide open pass in the middle, would have given him field goal range. 3rd and 5 for St. Louis. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Rolls up in the pocket. He gets hit, and he fumbles it. DC has the ball. He is going to be down there in field goal range. They need to bench Duggan. That is a terrible play by Duggan. You do not have 30 seconds in the pocket, my man. Duggan should not see the field in the second half. If Duggan sees the field in the second half, it's over for St. Louis. That is such a bad fumble to take. You're literally giving them almost 3 points right there. Instead of gaining 3 points, that's a literal 6-point swing potentially. Unbelievable. First and 10, ball is snapped. They're going to run it, and it's going to be about a 4.5-yard gain. You got to go quick and spike it. They got to spike it here. They don't got a timeout left. And now they're going to kick it here. Battlehawks are going to choke. Yeah, that is not good right there for DC. Or for St. Louis to say. You got to bench Duggan after that one. That was a fumble on him. The fact that he stayed in there that long is insane. Silver's got to go in the hat. Battlehawks looking to see right now. I figured Max get exposed. The honest truth is it's even hard to say that he got fully exposed. Because we saw with Silvers, when Silvers came in with the receiving core, he didn't even have Sailors in the backfield with him. And he looked much more consistent and poised in the pocket than even Duggan did, even in his best games. Like, at the end of the day, Duggan's running ability is just, it's not good enough to justify how wildly inconsistent of a passer he is. I agree. Literally, when the interception happened for DC, that's when he should come in. That is when Silver should have came in. Instead, they did 2 drives with Duggan, and look where they're at now. No, I like the decision to kick it here. You could kick the field goal here, but I feel like you don't want something to go wildly wrong. You don't want to throw an interception or something. Like, you got to view it as these are points that you do not deserve. You did not earn these points. It was more so Duggan screwing up. So if you view it in that sense, you're getting basically like the handicap touchdown Arlington got over St. Louis and Manny towards Achilles. You're basically getting a handicap field goal. You did almost nothing to earn it, and now you have a field goal. Take the field goal, get your 3 points, make it 20-6. Max Duggan, man. Not looking good for him. 41-yard attempt for Matt McRae, and let's see if he can make this one, make it a 20-6 lead. Kick is up. It is almost a perfect kick. It is 20-6, DC over St. Louis. Fully agree. They need a real pocket passer. Fully agree. Yeah, I fully agree. Even Anthony Miller was saying they need to bench him, and I fully agree. If you keep him in there, it's over. Getting ready for Paces OKC instead, bro. Don't say that. I prefer a neutral site championship. I agree. I loved having it in Canton. I think that if you're going to have it at a yearly place, Canton is such a great place because of how many things are near it. Even though I still think that even a yearly place is still rough. I would have rather been there, but you know, it is what it is. So DC is going to be up 20-6 over St. Louis at the half. Really rough right there. Even the Broncos looking at Silvers right now, Lamau. They got to know, man. You got to put in Silvers. You keep Duggan out there. It's just, why? Beck, I think, got to go as well. He doesn't seem like a coach to me. He just seems a good motivator. That makes sense. Kind of like what people thought Dan Campbell was the first year he was there in a lot of ways. Obviously, Campbell ended up showing he was able to get at least really good coordinators around him, but I'm going to go for the return here up to the 10, the 15, the 20. Just don't fumble it. And he gets taken down about the 24-yard line. The biggest question mark or issue for them, well, I mean, if DC makes it, I would actually say it's more so a home game for Michigan. I think St. Louis fans would rather root for Michigan, but yeah. The biggest issue with Beck and this is that the whole point of why you got rid of McCarron was because you wanted a dual-threat quarterback. You got a dual-threat quarterback, but you just spamming QB draws and you have a quarterback that's not accurate. Even Manny wasn't accurate. He looked solid in the first 2 weeks playing against, cupcake defenses, but then once he played real defenses, he looked a lot worse. So, what will you rate Max Duggan performance today? Was that Anthony Brown Jr.? That was how I rate his performance. So, not good. It's just, you got to bench him. And it goes to the thing with Beck is that the decision to go with dual threat quarterbacks instead of a legit pocket passer, yes, I understand that Adrian Martinez won the championship last year being dual threat. Yes, I understand Alex McGee won a championship being a dual threat quarterback. I understand T. Will got to win as a dual threat quarterback. Perez didn't win as a dual threat quarterback. He won it as a pure pocket passer, right? Teamu got to the championship game as a pure pocket passer. Even last year's Brahmas teams, yes, they could somewhat move, but you didn't use Dormade and Garbers as dual threat. You used them as pocket passers. A quarterback has to be accurate. let's just oversimplify it. A quarterback needs to be accurate when throwing the football. Max Duggan, Manny Wilkins are not accurate passers. Max Duggan also has the issue of his throwing motion, which is a detriment. There is no benefit to his throwing motion, only negatives. So you basically have Manny Wilkins at quarterback with a worse throwing motion. That's essentially what Max Duggan is. At least that's what he's proven through this season, is he's a worse Manny Wilkins. That's not good. I fully agree. Silvers is the play. With him, you're not going to be calling as many dumb quarterback draw plays, and you know what you have. You have a guy who can make a great deep pass. You have a guy who is a more accurate quarterback. Is he going to win you the game? You don't know for sure. It's tough. There's a reason he was usually a bench guy. But he is somebody who has experience. He is the guy. If you want to win this game, you need to put in Brandon Silvers. Or just do the ultimate effort, go deep kind of play and put in Cordero, because we've barely seen any film on him, and that could legitimately win you or lose you the game. But, you're already going to lose to Duggan. Yeah, that's a good point. When you make DC's defense look competent, there's something going drastically wrong. And I can say the same thing about the offense's ground game. The fact that DC's ground attack has been looking pretty solid is also really scary if you're St. Louis's defense, because that's the unit you were supposed to be, unbeatable. Seattle Dragons legend. Yeah, we need Silvers in this game for sure. Let's see. Let's see what people are saying under the St. Louis Battlehawks. Like, put Silvers in, please. That's the top comment under the post. That's great. Duggan is the worst QB I've seen step on the field. Bring in Silvers. Bring in... Dude, every single one is just saying bring in Silvers. That's hilarious. That fumble was on Max. He held on to the ball way too long. The Jennings play was kinda on both, as Duggan did overthrow it. If you get two hands on the ball, you need to come down with it. Blame both of them. That fumble's on Max. He held on to the ball way too long. The Jennings play was kind of on both, as Duggan did overthrow, but the saying is, if you get two hands on the ball, you need to come down with it, so I blame both of them. Yeah, I disagree with what this guy's saying on Twitter. At the end of the day, Silvers is not causing a lot of these issues. If you put Silvers in, you know what you're getting. He's going to throw the ball out quicker. Definitely not a fan of that right now. This has been a strange game. I thought St. Louis keep throwing it up to Butler, and DC would have a tough time with that. If Silvers doesn't start the second half, coach needs his head examined. True. AJ McCarron laughing at his ex for fumbling him. On God. Is this Duggan's worst game? Honestly, probably not. He had another game where he had like a 37 completion percentage against Arlington. That was probably his worst game. Like, it really comes down to the fact that you need to put in a quarterback that is a traditional quarterback, which is Brandon Silvers. He's someone who's going to get the job done much better, so hopefully he gets put in quarterback, but we'll see. Take Duggan out. Get rid of him. He sucks. True. Definitely not good. That's what needs to be said. He ain't good. That's for sure. Take Duggan out. New post. Jazz Chisholm. Okay. Silvers needs to come in for sure. Did not want to open Twitter again. DC is doing a good job covering everyone else straight up then. They are doing a great job. It's not even that, because you've seen a decent amount of times where there's guys open. It's just that Duggan, it's just, their throwing motion takes so long for him. It's such an issue for him. You would think that DC is using an extra DB on Butler. Pearson would cook everyone, but he hasn't done anything. Is he going to be the large reason why St. Louis is losing? So far, Duggan is the number one reason they're losing. Like, yes, the run defense is also partially to blame. I cannot stress that enough. The fact that DC's run game has looked competent is really bad. But what it really comes down to is the fact that Duggan is just, it's so rough because of how long it takes him to throw the ball. It's the issue of being a dual threat quarterback. You want to run all the time, but you can't do that all the time. It's just not a good call. Is what it is, though. Ronaldo's still number one trending. What a game. What a game so far. 20-60 over St. Louis. I still can't believe this is actually like DC might actually make it to the championship game. That's so bad for St. Louis. That's such a rough loss to take if you're them. Yeah, Silvers, that would be great. I mean, like, yes, it was a drop pass, but I think that you need to blame Duggan for that one, too. The fact is Jennings had to jump for the pass, number one, lift his arms up fully, and then it was still a bit overthrown. The saying is, if you get 2 hands on the ball, you should catch it. But it's a lot like when McClendon does those rocket passes 5 yards in front of him. Like, at some point, the quarterback also has to be to blame. Because that's the kind of throw that, like, you're supposed to hit him in the chest. Like, this is where you're supposed to catch the ball. This is a bad throw. This is unless you are doing a corner end zone type of throw, where you're doing the only your guy can catch it. In the wide open, this is the only acceptable catch, is the ball coming here. If you have to do this, it's a bad throw. You have to do this, it's a really bad throw. You have to jump and do that, and you barely get it, that's a bad throw. So even that one drop, that's still just as much on Duggan as it is on Jennings. I think it's a solid 50-50 blame. It was 2 ends on the ball. You need to catch that. Also, there's no excuse for a wide open, over-the-middle throw to whiff that bad on a throw. So that's rough. You think Toe will be the NFL breakout star? Breakout star is going to be tough to say like Jake Bates, because Jake Bates like legit broke records. But I will say that I think there's a very good shot that he does make a team and does actually get some playing time. Because with him, he's a guy that you know can be that kind of like low yardage threat, like that third down back at the first down, kind of thing. You can do that. DC you've been alone all year, a chance to prove you wrong here. They could win it all, but the fact is I wouldn't say that I've been low on them all year. The fact is I was actually high on them initially. It's been the other way around where a lot of people have been giving too much credit later in the season. The fact is their defense is still the weakest in the playoffs. Their offense is still the worst overall offense, but as I mentioned, even though their offense is truly the worst in the playoffs, minus St. Louis under Duggan, the way they play offense can win you any game. It's a weird thing to say. Pretty much what I mean is they are never out of a game. Even with Birmingham making a comeback, if a team was down by 30, DC has the best shot at coming back because their offense can score like that. The issue is consistently it's the worst of the 3 offenses that aren't St. Louis with Duggan because of the fact that their ground game historically has been really weak. Now this game they've been a lot better. It is one game. This so far is like the albatross for them, is that their ground game looks good. But the fact is, with Teamu, no lead is safe against them. That's the thing that's scary about DC. Even the Michigan game when Michigan was crushing them, there was still a shot DC could have came back, and that's what they did against Arlington. You have an offense that is just a big play machine. It's a matter of getting that to happen consistently, which goes back to Teamu. In terms of all these teams in the playoffs, I would say, honestly, for how great Perkins is, no, I take that back. No, you can literally put a backup in for DC's offense to be solid. Well, let me put it this way. Even though Perkins is the more dynamic and better player, in terms of their performance in a game deciding the game, Teamu's performance matters more for a lot of things because when he plays badly, that offense ain't scoring. But when he's playing good, you get games where he puts up a ton of points. What was the worst quarterback play in the playoffs for spring football? For the playoffs, the Roughnecks in 2024 or 2023 did a pretty rough one. I mean, they got pretty much slapped by Arlington. That might be it. I don't remember if it was Silvers or the other one who's played that game, but that might be it. That was pretty rough. Duggan right now is up there too. This is really bad. There's like almost nothing positive I can say about Duggan's play. But I would say worst quarterback play is probably the Roughnecks back in 2023. I think that was pretty rough because that Renegades defense was not like Murderers Row. It was a defense that played football, and they were able to like hold them like less than 25 points. That was probably the rough one. Roughnecks versus Renegades 2023. February, April. Please tell me this is the right game. XFL South Division Championship. Yeah, that was the worst. They put up, Cole McDonald. I knew it was somebody that forgot that. I forgot for a good reason. Silvers and McDonald both played, but McDonald ended up going 9 of 25 for 82 yards and 1 interception. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Like, that's really bad. Yes, he had like 47 yards in the ground, but that's bad. That's got to be the worst. Because even Duggan right now, he's almost better than that, which is hilarious. So, yeah. Yeah, that's got to be the worst. Because, like, even though they didn't put up a ton of points, both Cookis and Perez did play. Like, Perez was pretty weak for the Generals, but wasn't, like, that bad. Like, definitely Cole McDonald. Like, there's a reason I completely forgot he even existed. America's team. The Cowboys. It is true, but if St. Louis loses this game, they really are the Cowboys. Hyped up every year just to choke. Silvers. I mean, I will say the worst part is if they do end up losing this game, there's a chance that they're going to fall from number 1 to number 4 in my power rankings. Like my postseason power rankings, there's a good chance they fall that far. I picked St. Louis 4 to win, but yeah, I was worried about Duggan potentially having a bad game, and well, he did. Yeah, if you put out Duggan, you deserve to lose. Like, if they do it, I'm going to root for DC to win. Because that is, like, coaching malpractice if you put Duggan in. Like, will I still be happy if St. Louis wins? Yes, because that means my pick was right. But the bottom line is if you put Duggan out there, I'm rooting for DC to win. I do not care about the attendance of the championship game. You do not deserve to be in there if you're playing Duggan. So we'll see if they do the correct decision, which is to play Silvers. We'll see. And the worst part of St. Louis is you have to win a playoff game in their existence. Hell, even if you count the Week 9 game against the Dragons as a playoff game, they're 0-3. And I think you really could count that as a playoff game, but yeah. I'm not doing an expansion video till either gets officially announced or after the championship game. So I would say that. I'm not going to just do one before anything. I'm going to wait till the championship game and then come out like a week or two after, which will be my thoughts on a lot of things. Return to the 15, the 20. Cuts in the middle. The 25-ish after he gets hit. So he's going to be down about the 25-yard line. Thank God. Brandon Silvers is coming in the game. St. Louis is officially trying to win the game. It is the quarterback's fault back. I know you're trying to save Duggan's ass. It is a lot of it. Not everything is, but a lot of it is. Let's see what Silvers does here. Silvers, they need to get something here. Duggan is on the sideline. Let's see what Silvers can pull off here. I swear if they do a QB draw first play. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle field. Quick throw. Caught at the 30-yard line. Beautiful play right there. Solid one. Good first play to Hakeem Butler. About a 5-yard gain. Time for second down. And that completion percentage is a big number. 72 completion percentage is a lot better than Duggan. Duggan was legitimately giving you like 30, 40% games a couple of times. 2nd and 3. Gave him pretty good field position on that play right there. 3 of 7 for 29 yards. My goodness. 2nd down. Kind of shocked to give him that many yards though. 2 guys in the backfield with Silvers. One to his right, one to his left. They hand it off to Sailors, who gets the first down. Good play right there. Get that first down. Love to see it. Again, you need to score something here. In reality, you want to score a touchdown. You want to make this back to a one-score game. Yes, a field goal would be nice, but again, obviously a field goal does not make it a one-score game. It's 11 points. Though, it does mean that if they kick a field goal, it's still a 14-point game, blah, blah, blah. You want a touchdown here. 13 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third quarter. Pre-game odds, St. Louis is -2.5. I don't know what the odds are now, but DC's probably like legitimately a 15-point favorite. I don't know. Maybe not 15, probably like 10. Motioning Pearson from the right to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the left side of the field. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws it. It is caught for Sailors. Gets the first down. Gets to the 50. Gets down to about the 47-yard line. Solid play right there for the team. Love to see that. Did not mean to open that. Good play right there by St. Louis. Again, that's something that you love to see from Silvers, just staying in the pocket, not trying to run away every 2 seconds, throw it to the open guy in the middle of the field. Great play. Again, the Tom Brady style, the dink and dunk. It works for a reason. 1st and 10 with about 13 minutes, almost exactly left in the quarter. Ball is snapped with about 0 seconds left on the play clock. Throws it to the right. It is going to be caught again, going to be down. It's going to be a 3-yard gain. Not a great one, but still at least 3 yards right there. Let's go, Brandon. 2nd and 7 now for the Battlehawks. Long John Silver's going to get the Battlehawks W. About 12 and a half minutes left once they do this play, maybe a bit less. But again, so far, this is what you want to see. Again, these are a lot of slow, short passes because of something they couldn't do. Was that a Pokemon back? There's a lot of things that we haven't seen, so yeah. Second and 7. Ball is snapped, looks to the right side of the field. Throws it. Ooh, that was a bad play right there. Almost intercepted. That was almost a great jump right there for the defenders. That was definitely a poor throw by Silvers right there, if the replay shows what I thought I saw. Let's see. Baker almost got that one. Silvers got a bit lucky there. That could have easily been intercepted. Baker made a great jump on that one. Silvers going to open up the air offense, not make it one-dimensional, which is so weird to say that a single-threat quarterback's going to make it open up, but I do agree it's going to be better. But yeah, even though that was a not great one right there, I still think I saw one. The original Let's Go Brandon. Silvers throws to the right, caught by Sailors, who gets about 2 yards. Now, important note, even though they didn't actually get the first down, that play right there, that is a big play right there where if you had Duggan in, that's probably a fumble. Because of how Duggan throws the football, it would have been literally twice as long as a throwing motion, meaning that that same play probably would have been a fumble had Duggan been throwing that pass. So even though they're not going to get the first down there, that does show the benefit of having Silvers in. They might be going for this one. They're kind of in no man's land. They're going to say F it and go for 4th and 6. Remember, getting this isn't going to give you a first down. It's only going to get you to the 1-yard line. So they might be going for this one. Surely not, though, right? Ball is snapped. They're going for it. Silvers throws it to the left. It is going to be incomplete. DC makes the stop. I'm really shocked they went for that one there. I get that, it's kind of do or die. You want to put points on the board, but it's not 4th quarter yet. Really shocked at that one. Not great right there. So Becht is going to potentially challenge us for pass interference, though. If he gets this is going to be huge for him. Let's see if he gets this. Call him for DPI. If he gets this, it's going to be huge. Give him the first down, we'll see. Yeah, the challenging for DPI. If they get this as an automatic first down, let's see. Showing it. Throws. Let's see. Oh, that should be probably. He did hit him pretty early. Like, not pretty early, but he did hit him early. I know they're saying real time, but I think that they probably could. Yeah. I would call that pass interference. Like, that ball is a solid, yard away from when he starts hitting it. Now, if this stays, it's because of the ruling on the field, but, Becht immediately challenged that. Wow, the real time is such a... I know they started that before, but that's kind of wild. Doesn't look like it's going to be successful. So because it couldn't be detected in real time, it's the one thing I really hate about the rule. Like, you say in real time, but then you show slow motion replays. Mike P's looking at slow motion replays. It's like, then what's the point of it? I know we've talked about it a lot. I'm going to have a whole video about the whole Super Challenge stuff because it's been so rough. I genuinely don't understand how you can do a replay and do it based on real time, but then, you allow for a holding call on the other side of the field to dictate a touchdown, but then when it's something like that, It's bad rules. They're gonna have to fully change it, or not fully change, but they're gonna have to do something about it because it's so whack how the rules work. Like it feels like the challenge rule has literally changed 4 times this season. You showed the replay. On the replay, it was pretty clear that he got there early, so you don't call it because it wasn't real time good enough. But yet when you review like a fumble, you do it in slow motion. I don't. It's poor. It's not good. St. Louis tough there. But to be fair, they really shouldn't have gone for it anyway. I get they were in no man's land, but I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of them going for it there either. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it was just not really ready for that one, but yeah. Rough right there for St. Louis. Here's our DB's all spine, Doug. It was right above his hands. Yeah, right above his hands when he jumped. Like, yeah, when I see something like that, it's like you do not know what you're talking about. Like, you do not know ball if you're saying that. It literally, he jumped and still couldn't get it. Like, come on. Man, what a shame that we might be becoming that the Battlehawks might become the Cowboys. Yeah, I agree. UFL Scoregami's even tweeting about how messed up it is. Makes sense. He got there early. Okay, then it's PI. Yeah, letting it play out, replay, and fail. Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense. I just saw an El Grande Americano hat in the St. Louis Dome. That is beautiful. We love that. The greatest luchador of all time. Get his oldest out of the game. Yeah, because, like, it's like I said, you cannot view it as, you can't just pick and choose what replays get done in real time versus not. Like, the Super Challenge rules make no sense this season in a lot of ways. Like, they made a great change allowing you for a second one, but so many things have just been done so poorly. Like, how are you able to review if a fumble is a fumble because it was in slow motion, but then in real time you can't change it? Like, dude, you can't say he got there early but it's not DPI because it wasn't real time good enough, because then you can do that for like everything else. You have to be consistent about it. That's the whole thing, right? It's like people talk about with an umpire. An umpire may make, like, if an umpire keeps calling a ball, like, this is the strike zone, and balls that are thrown like here are called strikes, but he keeps doing that, that's a good ump. That is a fantastic ump because he's consistent. A good umpire is not calling strikes, he's calling consistently. That's the biggest difference between casuals and good baseball players know. A good ump is not calling strikes, they're calling consistently. They're not BSing. You can't have a replay review system that isn't consistent. Then it's a bad replay review system. Hence why one of the biggest complaints this season has been the replay review system, which is supposed to be the best part of the UFL. Catch is made first down DC at about the 42-yard line in St. Louis territory. So it's wild. Isn't the whole point of the Super Challenge to sky judge to see the play from all angles slowed down? Exactly. It's a challenge. You don't just get to say, oh, in real time because, well, in this play, like, how come you can review a fumble in slow motion or like a touchdown in slow motion, be like, oh, you know, he didn't get the touchdown, he was like 0.1 seconds away from it. But then when you do a super challenge, it doesn't work. But then when you super challenge on a play where the entire play happened on the right side of the field, but there's a holding call on the left that has no effect in the play, and that gets challenged and successful, which we did see in the DC Arlington rematch, what? I will have a video on that in the offseason. When? I don't know, but that will be a video in the offseason, is how awful the replay review has been this year. It should be literally 3 millennials that review it, instantly vote, and decide to get it right every time. Letting one boomer decide has ruined the entire country's mind. Bruh. 2nd and 7 for DC. Hey, like I said, if DC scores a field goal, it's still a game. They score a touchdown, I think it's game over. I said it before, 25 is the magic number. DC hits it, it's game over. Pass thrown caught, they're going to be about 1 yard shy of the first down marker. Kind of a bad decision again right there. That is trying to get a massive play instead of a first down. He should have just gone up. He would have gotten the first down. Still would have been tackled, but instead it's 3rd and 1. So DC may be forced to kick a field goal here. That's definitely not a great call by the receiver right there, but he still got the catch. Still got 6 yards. Going to be 3rd and 1. Eight minutes left in the 3rd quarter. There's going to be a delay of the game unless you get the timeout off. I think they're going to give them the timeout. They do give them the timeout. Definitely needs to be a DX. So aggravating. I mean, the challenge rule has been so bad. I don't know, even Billy Dino hasn't been perfect all season. I mean, it's just... The fact that the rules seem to be different between which guy is doing it. The fact that, you know, sometimes it has to be real time, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you have to call for the player, sometimes you don't. It's just... not great. 3rd and 1 for the DC Defenders. Let's see if they can get this one here. Almost, dude, that's so bad. Under 100 total yards, but at least they got a decent amount in that one play. I mean, they got, like, literally half what they got in the whole first half in the first drive with Silvers, which is hilarious. 3rd and 1 for the DC Defenders. Ball is snapped. They pitch it back. They do another play, and it's going to be a throw to the right side. It is caught down to about the 2-yard line. Jones is wanting pass interference, but he's not going to get it, and they already used their super challenge, so they're not going to get it no matter what. What happened? Duggan fumbled the ball in St. Louis territory. He just sat in the pocket and just didn't move for like 10 seconds. Not exactly, but like it felt like 10 seconds. Fumbled. DC scored a field goal, and then Silvers had an okay drive, made a couple of bad throws, bad play decisions. DC got the ball. Really bad challenge happened. Not bad as in it was a bad play to challenge, but in a bad review. It's been rough. Yes, Duggan thankfully has been benched, and Silvers immediately looked better. Still not great, but he did look better. Touchdown DC, I believe that it is game over. I mentioned heading into this game, I believe that 25 points is the magic number for DC to win the game. I think that the max amount St. Louis could realistically score was 25 points, or really 24, and it is 26-6. I think that it is game over. Never say never, but I think that this does mean we're getting Michigan versus DC in the UFL Championship game. But we'll see. Definitely rough right there. 26-6, DC over St. Louis. Glad I'm not a Battlehawks fan because they're going to lose, dude. This definitely feels rough for Battlehawks fans. I definitely feel for you guys. One-point attempt. They're going to go for it. We'll see if they can make it. Let's see. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Throws to the right. It is going to be incomplete. He's going to lose another playoff game. It's looking like... Yeah, it's looking like it. Cooked. Yeah, true. Like, damn. Put the fries in the bag. We can't win when it matters. This definitely sucks because you guys got some wins that you normally wouldn't get. But the fact is, this is now essentially your 3rd consecutive playoff loss. I know it's technically not, but the Week 9 game I basically count as a playoff game because that's when you got rid of your own destiny. So this is your 3rd consecutive playoff loss if you're a Battlehawks fan, in all honesty, if you count the Sea Dragons game. And that's rough. I mean, it's rough that this is going to be your 3rd straight loss in the playoffs, essentially. Got to go to work. Thanks, everybody. Man, you got to work at Sunday night. That sucks, Gary, but I hope you have a good time. Hope you had a good time at the stream, though, but definitely sucks to have to work on Sunday night. I will say, hopefully the championship game is good. It definitely does hurt knowing that the championship game is obviously going to take a hit in attendance because they're not going to be in it again. Barring a comeback. I mean, never say never, but I think it's pretty much over, but yeah. The attendance just came out, 27,576. Let's see last year's. Last year's attendance for the playoff game was also less than the regular games in the season. 2024, 27,394. So basically the same as last year's playoff. Or no, that's less. That's a rough one. Less than last year's playoff game. And 2025, that is their second to worst game this season. And their second to worst game this season. Not what you want to see. So that's definitely a bit of an L in attendance for St. Louis. Rare St. Louis L. I know it's still an incredible number, but in a pure technical standpoint, that is technically an L because that is their second to worst number this season, and that is significantly less than last year, despite a lot of the stuff they've been trying to do to help them out. So that definitely does hurt, but that is just the truth. Mike Burr needs to be unemployed immediately. Bruh, that was so... I still can't believe they did that. That review was so bad. I mean... And the fact that it wasn't even the worst review of the season is probably, like, even sad. This is a really poor game planning. I mean... Sure, went 8-2, but come on, but a one and done in the playoffs. Again, it's rough. Gonna take a dump again for the championship, but hopefully not as bad. Yeah, I hope that we get people show up just to hate on DC, because DC is a legit rival. People act like they were gonna do that for San Antonio. These are really the two teams that if you're a St. Louis fan, you probably hate seeing, so you might just go hate watch it, but yeah. In terms of, if you do it by pure number, obviously St. Louis, but in terms of expectation, Birmingham was better this week. Right, if you judge it how I've always judged it, which is what was the expectation of the crowd, what actually happened, and what is compares to historically, Birmingham was better. Both teams had a lot of tickets that went on sale to try and get more people in seats. Birmingham did beat their number last year. Birmingham did have the number one attendance this game, whereas St. Louis, they had 6 home games before this, and this was their second to worst. So technically, I'd say Birmingham had a better number today in a standpoint of how I do it, which is judging what was the expected attendance versus what happened, compared to St. Louis, which this was a disappointing number for them. Basically, Birmingham, I wish it was better, but technically it was a good number, whereas St. Louis was definitely a disappointing one. DC win hurts the league. It definitely sucks that the championship games would be rough, but it is what it is. Never too late, but Dams looked bad. Agreed. Sure went to 8-2. This is just a really poor game planning. I mean, you made DC's ground game look good. That is really rough. And this is what I was talking about. You needed Duggan to play in Week 10. The reason I said that is you needed to know how good is he fully. I get it was against DC, but you needed him to play. The fact that you didn't play him there was such a bad decision. He was not consistent enough to justify being benched. At least with Perkins, you've seen enough to know he's a great player and he can get the job done. You didn't see that with Duggan. That's poor coaching on Beck. I would say poor game planning, not for this game, but the previous 2 weeks. Pass is thrown by Silvers. It is caught in midfield. Pearson gets to the 40-yard line, the 35. Gets taken down at about the 32-yard line. Incredible play right there. Again, that's a play that Silvers made that I don't know if Duggan would make. Hate saying that, but it's true. Great throw by Silvers. Massive play by them. Again, it's still never over, but I just don't think they're going to keep scoring. Me casually going wearing a Battlehawks jersey because I'm delusional. I mean, hey, I went to the championship game wearing a Panthers jersey. It got me on Twitter, which I'll take that. I got on the UFL's official Twitter page. Oh, you know what? I got to find that. I got to pin that. I don't have a pin message. I got to pin that one. They throw it over the middle. It is going to be incomplete. That was a poor throw by Silvers, a bit too low, but overall solid. I gotta find that one. That's definitely the one I gotta do right there. UFL support June 16th. Fans. Ball is snapped. They throw a little quick dump off to Sailors. And it's intercepted, but there's a flag. Let's see what this flag is. Offsides in the defense, so they're not going to lose anything there, but definitely hurts right there. Now I look like Cowboys fans saying this is our year. Went from this to I mean, to be fair, Duggan his versus dropped money ball earlier in the game. They handed off. It's going to be a first down. Sailors down about the 17. As I mentioned earlier, that was on both of them. The fact that Jennings had to jump and reach up and still just barely got it in his hands, that's almost as much on Duggan as it is on him. That's a one that's on both sides. It's like when McClendon does a rocket pass 3 yards in front of him. Like, yes, it hit both hands, but like, dude, McClendon just launched it to you. That's kind of on both. Literally couldn't care less. Just so glad the Stons were eliminated. True. Hello, sports fans. As a spring ball enjoyer. Second and 5 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. Looks to the right side of the field. Throws. It is going to be almost intercepted. That was a bad one. This just sucks. Yeah, definitely rough to see what's going on right now. I do agree with that. Definitely is on the rough side. Third and 5, they throw it. It is caught for a touchdown. Hakeem Butler gets it. They are back on the scoring board right now. Massive. It is 26-12 right there. I have no faith in DCG. Right there, I mean, that was a big play for them. They're now back somewhat in it right there. There we go. Just added that pin. I completely forgot to do that. The massive W right there. I just changed that. That's why he plays defense. True. I got another question. Does Silver start next year for St. Louis? I would assume no. I think that if you're St. Louis, you got to probably just fully revamp your QB room. Give Cordero another shot, but I'd say revamp it. I don't think this group has really shown enough. That's what I would say. Good call, benching Max. Question is, does he start next week? If they win this game, you start Silvers. Like, this is not like a, Adrian Martinez played bad, let's play Matt Corral. No, this is like a clear-cut, Duggan is not it kind of thing. DC is super challenging. Trying to get a hold. But was it a hold in real time? That's the real question. I don't know. That's in slow motion. It's hold in slow motion, but I don't think that's a hold in real time. Let's see this. That should not be holding. You can't call that. I had checked the stats at halftime. DC was bottom 3-4 in almost all defensive stuff. Choke job. Yeah, I mean, they were legitimately the second worst defense in the league. The only defense worse was the Brahmas, which is what's insane about this game being the way it is. Wait, why am I doing the cheerleading here? If St. Louis wins, so will start next week. That is correct. Keep this ruling on the field stand. So they fail their challenge too. So both teams are out of challenges. Down to St. Louis is down to 2 timeouts. DC's down to 1. 26-12. So let's see. If they can get this 2-point conversion, it makes it back to a 12-point game, which of course is a big deal. That makes it a touchdown, a 3-point conversion, and a field goal. In shotgun, one man to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the middle of the field. Throws. It is going to be tipped and incomplete. So it is still going to be a 14-point game. It's still technically a 2-score game. St. Louis' defense has to hold. Yep, challenges are over, so we're not going to see any more of those horrible challenges, hopefully, but we'll see. Profile finally pinned a Conf. Pinned something massive. Love to see it. Well, Zom, you said if DC scores 24, St. Louis, I guess we're going to see if you're right. True. Watch St. Louis literally put up 24 points and lose. That would, if that happens, man, like, I'd have to pat myself on the back for that one. That, like, if they score exactly 24, oh my goodness. That may come back to haunt DC since they're already down one timeout. It's not even the end of the third. Yeah, it is while they're already down there like that. That is absolutely diabolical. Profile, yeah, 'cause I mean, my score prediction was like 24-13, I think, or 24 or something like that. Yeah, I said 24-14, which ain't happening, but we'll see. 24 could slap in. Today's Sunday. Yeah, today's Sunday. Monday, I gotta take my thing off on Tuesday. Thank God. I thought it was about to explode on me. I was about to like be so pissed. I guess you're selling out to stop the run. Dude, Sprite Zero is such an awful drink. It's the only drink that ever does this for me, bro. Alright, I'll be back in a second. I gotta clean this up. Dude, Sprite Zero is so bad. I'll be back in a second. Dude, I hate Sprite Zero for that. It's the only drink that does that for me. Doesn't matter how much or how little it shakes, it just explodes. Like, without any issue, it just always does it, and it's so aggravating. I never have that problem with any other drink, just Sprite Zero. Didn't even get it all. Soas might be injured. Oh, that's terrible. Did I really miss that? That's actually awful. Well, St. Louis is screwed if that's true. That's what I'd say. If that is true, he is in fact hurt, they're screwed. But is what it is. I swear, please, Demons lock in rim jersey. Well, no, it didn't get on the jersey, thankfully. I caught that, but yeah. Back from Subway. I just got back from having to clean up a mess of Sprite Zero exploding, but yeah. Somebody should have to take the in-game money line. Oh, that's a tough call. I wouldn't do it, but you could. It will be the second biggest comeback. Yeah, because 26-6 in UFL history. I think that'd be the biggest in UFL history, but not biggest overall. Because I believe the Birmingham comeback was 19. Is that right, Adam? Like UFL history-wise, it would be the second biggest comeback, 20-point. 26-12 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Man. Yeah, it'll be the biggest in UFL history because 19 was the record. That was the Birmingham over Houston comeback. There's a flag. It might be DPI again. We'll see. Yeah, rough seeing Silvers go down. That's just really, really rough for them. It would make a lot of history. Offsides in the defense, penalty is decline, but pass interference is accepted. That's going to hurt St. Louis again right there. I was sucked to math. Can Duggan actually do it though if Silver's hurt? I don't think so. I think that if he's hurt, it's over. I think it's. I don't see Duggan pulling this off. 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. DC's up 14 points. I mean, DC is almost twice as many yards as St. Louis, and a lot of those St. Louis yards are going to be the last 2 drives with Silvers in. Yep, Silvers is being carted off. That's not what you want to see. They throw it. It is tipped. Could have been intercepted, but it is just an incomplete pass for DC. Really rough seeing Silvers go down. Yep, he is carted off. Still on the cart right now. Well, Duggan had DC plus 2. Yep, it was Silvers being carted off. In shotgun, 3 receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. Handed off. And they get the first down, and then down to the 30, down to the 26-yard line. Oh my goodness. Sprite Zero is solid. It's just that for some reason it always explodes. Like, it literally, if you, like, move it from, like, one side of your desk to the other side of your desk, you probably moved it too much, and it's going to have to, you know, fizz out, which is insanely aggravating. I've only had an issue with that. But it's alright. Is it as good as, like, Diet Dr. Pepper? No, but it's still solid. So he could try to win by 1. Duggan, please release, and the defense has to step up. Damn, yeah, that was definitely a bad rush right there to allow. Again, letting DC's ground game do 6.4 yards a rush is absolutely awful. And they just got another solid one. They just gained about 6 yards on the ground right there. 26-12 with under 2 minutes left in the third quarter now. In theory, DC should be able to pull this one into the fourth quarter, and if they score again, it's fully Jover, but we'll see. 2nd and 4. St. Louis needs to stop here. They really need to make them lose a yard or 2 here. With how bad they've been playing on the run defense, you got to force them to lose a yard or 2. And they run it to the left. It's a first down again, down at about the 13-yard line. You just can't let that happen. Now DC's going to be able to bring this to the fourth quarter with ease, and they're still going to have like a couple plays left in the next quarter. That's not what you want to see. Especially because they can still get another first down, eat the clock. This is the point of the game where you're DC, eat the clock. Both teams are only down to 1 timeout, or like St. Louis is down to 2, but you can just completely, it's just going to be rough. Yeah, the St. Louis defense being bad is really rough. I mean, it does beg the question of what this team is. They really are the Cowboys of the UFL. Huge fan base, talks a lot, goes to games, and then loses in the playoffs. They hand it off. It is going to be a 3-yard gain. Could have done that like any earlier, or couldn't have done that any earlier, but it is what it is. One more play for the quarter before we head into the final quarter of the game. 2nd down. It's going to be 2nd and 8 for the DC defenders. C.J. Johnson in the playoffs. Yeah, the Cowboys. We got the Cowboys. This our year. St. Louis going to be saying this our year. They're going to like get rid of the quarterback's going to sign some random quarterback and be like, this our year. 2nd and 8 for DC. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Quick throw out to the right is going to be caught. And it's going to be down about 1 yard shy. I will say this legitimately is one of the more embarrassing losses. I've mentioned it before. On paper, this should have been a pretty easy St. Louis win. I think this is definitely up there for the biggest upset since the Renegades versus the Roughnecks. Because that was the real upset. Because, again, the DC one was after they already pulled it off. This is probably the 2nd biggest upset in playoff history for the UFL/XFL/USFL. I know some would say the Stars Generals, but I think this one is like, it's just on paper. There's Battlehawks should have won this one. This is a rough one. Again, still about a quarter left, but at this point, it's just, do you really think that St. Louis is going to put up that many points and stop them? No. So, yeah. Don't need that post up anymore. Don't really need that one up either. Even Bob Steve's more playoff win than the Battlehawks. Okay. You didn't have to bring that up. That's hurtful to bring that one up. I mean, like, it's true, but, like, did you have to bring that one up? That's rough. Duggan, 3 of 7 for 29 yards. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, Silvers came in with 6 of 10, so almost 20 completion percentage better than Duggan. And he also had 81 total yards compared to Duggan's 29. I mean, it's, like, not even that close. Yeah, that one rub salt in the room was shameful display. I like the old defender's older helmet better. I don't remember fully. I know I checked earlier, but I don't remember exactly which one I liked better. I won't disagree. So rough. Definitely sucks for St. Louis right now. I mean, this is a rough one because, I mean, the UFL has been really trying to bank on St. Louis making the championship game because you do know that they made the championship game. You're talking about, like, legit 40K plus in theory. And for the second year in a row, it's not happening, and they did make the playoffs. It just hurts. The only reason with the Stars is because Case Cookus was really good that year. Like, a lot of people who didn't watch the USFL don't remember how good Case Cookus was in 2022. So, for how much of an upset it was record-wise, because the Generals were like 9-1 that season, at the end of the day, the Stars were still viewed as a really good team. So, I would say that that was the one that wasn't as big an upset. Whereas the Renegades beating the Roughnecks, it's like, wow, the 4-6 team beat the, really solid team that only lost to the best teams in the other conference or other division. And then this one, it's like, it's just... DC had so many things going against them, and, like, everything that was supposed to be bad for them in this game worked out. Ground game, it's been bad. It's worked out. The defense, giving up a lot of big plays. It gave up, like, one, but overall it's been really solid. So, it's a tough one. That's the history of General Stars, but I think. That's what I was wondering if Beck should go. I gotta say, I believe this is over now. Let's go Panthers. I will say for the playoff tier list, this is definitely on the lower spectrum. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put this yet, if this is a C, D tier. It's not an F tier game, like we all know it's not, but it's definitely a lower tier game. I don't know exactly where I'd put this one. Playoff games tier list number 2. I forgot I put 2 F tier. Well, yeah, that was bad. This is definitely a C. This might be a C tier game. This is very much like the 2023 championship game, where it's just one team kind of beating the other one while they're still kind of in it. This is probably C tier. This is a C or D tier game. It ain't F tier, but it's definitely one of those ones. If I've ever seen one. Even the other Pittsburgh Mauls are more playoff wins than the Battlehawks. True. That is true. It's wild, but that is true. Trevor Adams shots fired. That is diabolical to bring that up, but it is true. I kind of do regret where I put the Battle or the Breakers Stallions games. Honestly, I kind of think I might put them higher, which I probably won't do it, but I definitely would potentially move them. Parents have been my backup team this whole time. Hey, you got MV Perkins. It's fun to watch. First down, and it's a touchdown. DC just put salt in the wound, 32-12. Yeah, you know it might be an F tier game. I don't know. It's tough. Just as hard as it is F tier, this is definitely like probably D tier. It's rough. This is Stallions Breakers so far. Yeah, this is like the first Stallions Breakers. The second one was a lot closer than I remember, but the first one was pretty rough. This is definitely looking like Stallions Breakers Part 1. Backup team, bandwagon status. 32-12. Just under 15 minutes left in the game. Gonna go for 1. St. Louis, it's not looking good. Yeah, Anthony Beckman, This is really 0-3 in the playoffs. You gotta count the Seattle Sea Dragons game Week 9 as a playoff game. I know it's not as direct as, let's say, Michigan versus Philadelphia in 23, but this is pretty much like that. It's wild. Mars would have more playoff wins because they didn't have Kurt Wilson as head coach. Handed off the middle, and it is good. 33-12, St. Louis. Okay, so we're just like total BSing right here. Okay. The St. Louis Battlehawks are officially the Cowboys of the UFL. Huge, loud, and proud fan base who believe it's their year every year. Spell check that. Get beat convincingly in the playoffs early every year. Wow, I really spelled convincingly wrong, didn't I? Yep, same as about Division Cowboys, the UFL. Huge, loud and proud fan base who believe it's their year every year. Get beat convincingly, then get beat in the playoffs. There we go. Really rough. Yeah. 2 notifications. Will you be there, Zomb? Not this year. To go to St. Louis for 1 day. Seven new posts. Hakeem Butler. Bro, that's like a long time ago, man. And we're back here. This is the great game of all time, bro. I think it's the greatest game I've ever watched. That's St. Louis deep fry this point. I remember all the playful cacaws laws after the first game of the year. Collapse. Oh, that's diabolical. An American Trade Cowboys reference is classic. What makes you sad? Spring football is almost over. It is true that it sucks that it's almost over. It's just, it feels like, it's like once you hit like week 5, you're like, man, it's going quick, and then bam, it's over. Because I feel like a Cowboys fan. We can get a functional QB in the playoffs. Pause law. You're a stream champ. I'm going to stream it because I'm not going to be there. I am going to stream the championship. If I was there, obviously I wouldn't, but not going this year. Talked about a decent amount. It's just not worth spending all that money to go to St. Louis for 1 day. $1,000 can get you a lot of other things, but yeah. So, overall for St. Louis, definitely officially the Cowboys of the UFL. I mean, they really are like identical in a scary amount of ways. I mean, hell, they're a blue team, not the same shade of blue, but they're still a blue and white team like the Cowboys. You know, they have a head coach who was like, I mean, Anthony Becht is like Mike McCarthy. Somebody who gets it done in the regular season and then blows it in the playoffs. So how good of a coach is he really? Don't know. Just like Mike McCarthy was. Now, the only difference is you don't have a wildly overrated quarterback, because even though McCarron was a bit overrated, and it's a fumble, DC might get the ball. Nope, St. Louis jumps on it, but still they're going to lose like 10 yards on that. The Bright Lights are their biggest rivals. Fans will show up next week to boo Samson. Oh my god, that'd be great. Biggest is definitely the DC Defenders. I'd say second is probably Michigan over Birmingham, but the biggest is DC. Congrats to the UFL town. We're throwing a bad pick every game. You're losing super bad challenge. Back not winning the big games. True. Yeah, Silver's got hurt. Like, legit hurt. He got carted off, so Duggan is back. So we got Mad Max some more. Throw it to the right. It's caught up to the 20. Out of bounds about the 24-yard line. Well, let's call it like it is. St. Louis is a do or die every drive. They need essentially a touchdown at every single drive. They're down 3 touchdowns with extra points. They legitimately need to score a touchdown look every single drive. He's going to meet St. Louis. Yeah. St. Louis Championship, not going to be in there again. Definitely rough. I would say it would be hilarious if as soon as they move it away from St. Louis, they make it there. That'd just be hilarious. 2nd and 1 for the Battlehawks. Ball is snapped. And he gets sacked. He just kept going backwards for some reason. Like, it's just watching Duggan play is like just so confusing. Like, he's taking a step back, he sees pressure, and he just keeps going backwards. I don't get what he was doing there. Let's see the replay. Yeah, he just keeps going back. Okay, okay, whatever. Max Duggan experience, man, it's something else. Third and 10 for St. Louis. Ball is snapped, looks to the middle of the field. Rolls out to the left, he pitches out, it's caught, but it's going to be like, ooh, Howard makes a move, makes about 6 yards right there. 4th and 4. You got to go for it here. Not even joking. You're St. Louis and you're still trying to win it. You go for it. If you punt it here, you're admitting defeat. They're punting it. They are officially admitting defeat. Might be Cam for not making the call to cash cow. True. Punt is up, and it is going to be... It's a good punt, but again, that's like what you do if you basically want to end the game right there. Out of bounds. Just rough. And then Max getting flashbacks in the national championship right now. True. This is a D or F tier. This is one of those where it's a lot of points, but it's just such a blowout. This probably will be an F tier or D tier game. I mean, it's just not a good game. Like, let's call it like it is. You watch Max Duggan play awful football. You played a little bit of Silvers, and he looked so much better, but yeah. I just don't want Vegas. The only reason is because, like, dude, it's already so aggravating seeing, like, WWE go to WrestleMania twice in Vegas, which no one wanted. Canton was a great place. There's a couple other places they could, so, yeah. You think they can get better? I don't think so. I think that the issue might be back. You have to start asking the questions. Thorne, I disagree fully. Thorne is saying that he thinks St. Louis is generally the worst playoff team in spring football history. You have to credit back. I disagree. It's the opposite. Like, I disagree. I think Beck is the biggest question mark for 2020 going to his second championship game. That is so true. That's another L for them right there. Well, somewhere, like, honestly, but not in St. Louis. Panthers UFL Championship. Wow, really? Already? That's insane. No way. No, they're still out there. I guess you can still order them. Yeah, you can still get them. The UFL Panthers UFL Conference Championship shirts are out. Oh, out. I thought you meant, like, out as in, like, they were... Okay, I see what you mean. My bad. They meant something else. I was like, they're still available, but yeah. And reply. Notifications going up here. Why Max Duggan throw motion like that? It's so bad. It's so rough. Get back out of here. I was new motivator, but not an extra QB. It's rough. I mean, it's rough. I don't think Beck is that guy. Yeah, the question is definitely Anthony Beck. It's when you lose 3 playoff games, like, yes, I am counting the Dragons game. You lost 3 playoff games in a row, and none of them were really that close. Let me make sure I'm not capping about the 23 Battlehawks season. 2023 XFL season schedule, week 9. No, you got crushed. I forgot. You got demolished by Seattle at home. Beck might not be that guy. That's bad. That's absolutely insane. Backdating that guy, I might have to agree. I've always been, like, on the lower end. I'm literally just in the Discord saying stuff, because, I mean, like, this game is essentially over, so apologies if you're expecting full play. This game gets closer, but, like, if you count week 9 in the playoffs, the Battlehawks have made it to 3 playoff games and have lost at home all 3 times, and not a single one was even close. Last year's game, remember, the Battlehawks scored a touchdown because San Antonio was, like, trying to do a read option play and just dropped the ball and scored a touchdown. It still wasn't even that close final score. So this will be 3 blowouts at home in the playoffs, if you count that as a playoff game, which basically is. So it's rough. We have to ask the question about Beck as head coach. If you count the 2023 XFL great years, run up the middle, it's about a 2-yard gain. Against the Giant playoff game means 3 straight years Battlehawks got crushed at home in the playoffs. Tough. Great. Post that. Yep, posted. I remember driving 8 hours to go see that. Yeah, 20 games against you. I was at the game. I would not play well at all. That was bad. Someone should have found a way to play all 5 QBs today. On God. Kelly with face NFL's watching stupid. Yeah, true story. I mean, it's rough. Really, yeah, that's rough. I would definitely say at this point, yeah, look, we don't know exactly how the UFL handles their coaches, whether or not they do officially fire people. I mean, we all kind of know Kirby definitely got fired, but if you're viewing this as an NFL team, you would get rid of Beck at this point. Because this is your 3rd consecutive year making it to essentially the playoffs. Again, 2023 wasn't technically a playoff game, but it basically was. If you win that game, you're in the playoffs. And they blew all 3 of them at home by wide margins. Like, the closest was San Antonio last year, and even that game was not that close. San Antonio kind of... That one wasn't a curb stomping, but that was a pretty easy one from San Antonio. So, if you're St. Louis and you want to be a better team, you have to think about getting a new coach. If you're viewing this from the state of like an NFL team, again, we don't know exactly how the UFL's handling this stuff with coaches, but the bottom line is if you look at Beck right now, is he a better coach right now than Stoops or CJ? I'd say yes. Is he a better coach than Nolan? Hell no. Than Skip Holtz? Hell no. Than Shannon Harris? Hell no. So it's rough, but it kind of is what it is. I guess Matt, St. Louis is close to you. That's how I judged it. But his team is shocked. Well, yeah, I mean, DC's offense being able to dominate the way they had is insanely embarrassing. Especially the ground game being so good is just insane. I say bring in Kelsey as a coach. Oh, I don't know about that one. That's a bit wild. Skip Holtz said it's been a hell of a ride. Oh, that would suck if that's true, if he's done. Could coach in this league, Skip retiring. He might be leaving. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, he's made it like it's. We had the same talk last year about if he's coming back. We'll see, but it'll be interesting. But we'll see. That if it is, it'll be wild. But yeah, him and St. Louis would be huge for them for sure. Rough. I mean, like it's rough. Bex is gone. Why are we watching this? It's rough. Matt Beck gotta go. I think you have to think about it. It's just, it's rough. Because even if you use the argument about getting good coordinators, right? See, a big thing about being a good head coach isn't actually your ability to be a coach. It's your ability to find coordinators. This is why somebody like Sean McVay is held in such a high regard. Because even if his teams aren't doing great, he's getting coordinators to get hired by other teams and have success to a degree. And when you look at Beck, he got rid of he lost Gradkowski, not got rid, but lost him and replaced him. And the offense still ain't good. He got a new quarterback, still ain't good. So it's like, it's tough to look at Beck and say, like, what is he doing well? Again, he's a great players coach, which definitely ain't AJ Smith, but it's just, I don't know, man. I definitely think that it's tough to get rid of him. Short 3 playoff games, straight playoffs is not... Yeah, I mean, even the quarterback changes. It's debatable that you did it in the first place. I mean, last year to this year, why did you get rid of A.J. McCarron? You got rid of him to have a dual-threat quarterback. Then your dual-threat quarterback was the reason you lost the game. Like Zomb Phox is saying, I blame Max Duggan, the receivers, the kickers, the O-line, the defense, secondary coaches, the rest of myself, bruh. But, I mean, it's like... Yeah, I mean, dude, the awesome Pizzagate scandal of Kirby Wilson was rough. But, like, if you're St. Louis, I mean, it's like... You lost against the Dragons. You got crushed. I mean, you lost by like 25 in that game. Or not 25, but like 20. Then you followed it up by making the playoffs. You got a home game. And then you got beat in that one by San Antonio badly. Your defense played great. Your offense wasn't. It's just, come on. Oh, yeah, AJ is having a ball right now. He is having a great time watching San Antonio fail. He's having a great time watching St. Louis fail. He may even be having a great time watching Birmingham fail. I think he's having a great time right now. All of a sudden... They fumble the ball. DC... No, they didn't. Surely DC didn't get the football, right? My goodness. I think Beck deserves to be fired because of his shenanigans with AJ McCarron. Yeah, especially on the fact that it was so public was bad. Yeah, DC, I mean, you don't want to give a team momentum. That's the worst thing that can happen is giving a team momentum. And you have an underdog team that gets momentum. It's like the Giants, right? The Giants in both their Super Bowl wins. They were not the best team in the playoffs. They weren't even like one of the 4 best teams in the playoffs, but they got that momentum, and that's all they needed. Big party at AJ's house. Dude, the AJs are probably together. AJ McCarron, AJ Smith are probably together having a great time right now. That's what I would definitely say. The 2 AJs, right? Even AJ Smith, he's laughing his ass off saying like, man, I bet you're having a great time. He's having a great time until, I don't know. Duggan rolls up in the pocket, and he gets sacked. Why am I not surprised? He goes down. Reggie Barlow. Definitely rough. 36-12. It's just, oh my goodness. Chet is trending. Finals are on. I didn't even remember that. I just didn't care, honestly. Like I said, I'm going to watch the game after this, after I probably have dinner and stuff. But Brahma's worst part, if their team was the receiver, St. Louis at least has receivers. First down, St. Louis. Like, it's so tough because you see St. Louis in the papers so good yet. No, none of them did anything. I mean, Hakeem had the one great touchdown grab, but that's about it. Yeah, beat up McCarron definitely did look better than this. I mean, it's rough. This team is, it's a rough one. You had 2 upsets today. Both the teams that were underdogs straight up ended up winning. rough game for St. Louis. It really is. You got curb stomped by DC in this game, and it's rough. I would not bring back Manny. I would not bring back Duggan. I may bring back Silvers as a backup, but I couldn't see justifying bringing back either starter this year. Because even though Manny had a terrible injury, it's like even before he got hurt, you realize now that the first game against Houston was an outlier for Houston, and then you beat the Brahmas defense, which is terrible, and aside from that, you didn't look good. So, yeah. Everyone call me out right now, I'm cooked. So, if I were the Battlehawks, I would not bring back any quarterback aside from Silvers. That's the only one that I would think about bringing back. They throw over the middle. It is going to be caught at the 50-yard line. Cuts to the right. Gets to the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, and he's going to be down at about the 16-yard line. There's a flag. It's going to be probably like, a horse collar tackle, something like that on the defenders. I bring back Silver's insurance. That's about it. Hey, that was a big play. It was mainly on the receiver, but it was still a big play by the receiver. Going to get a lot of extra yards here. They should be able to score a touchdown, make this a closer game, but still. Yep, horse collar tackle. Shocked to get that twice today, like in 2 different games, but still shocked that we saw that. It was twice, 2 different games, but yeah. Good, simple throw. That's what you wanted to see. See, right there, that's what I mean the Jennings throw earlier. That's how he should have thrown it to Jennings, and instead he threw it like way over his head. That's why I mean that was like more on Duggan. A.J. Mack. So it's going to be first and goal at the 2-yard line. Surely St. Louis can score a touchdown here, right? 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, running back right behind Max Duggan. Hand it off, and it is going to be a 1.5-yard loss for St. Louis right there. Max Duggan in a game that doesn't matter. Goated. Bro, dude, he might be like the Cowboys. Dak Prescott putting up garbage time stats in the 4th quarter when the game's already over. Dude, oh my God, the parallels are getting even crazier. The parallels are even crazier, man. Dak Prescott, iconic 4th quarter merchant, garbage time merchant, might be having that happen here. Probably not coming back, which sucks because he actually developed as a player last season. This was a bigger cut than Seth Rollins has ever done, bro. They run it up the right. It gets basically back to where they were. They're going to be down at the 2-yard line once again. Yeah, the officiating command center was definitely rough too with that one review, but under 4.5 minutes left. So they do here. We want Mizzou. Third and goal for the Battlehawks. This is obviously 4-down territory for what it is, but yeah. Ball is snapped, looks to the right, throws it to the corner, and it is going to be incomplete again, just like the Renegades. Why are you throwing it there? You should have ran it, and so you threw it. There is a flag. This might be DPI, though. Showboat's 2 wins will be against the Panthers and Defenders. Honestly, it would be hilarious if they pull it off again when they beat the team that wins the championship on both conferences again. I did that to you, but I'm all out of mercy. You ain't sorry. First and goal, 4 minutes left in the game. St. Louis, they got to score, go for the 4th and 12. Score, go for the 4th and 12 again. Will they do it? I doubt it, but we'll see. Ball is snapped. Handed off. It is going to be stopped short again. Ain't no way. Bro, why am I getting Discord pings but not getting notifications? I'm not going to mute that fully. Probably under 20K. I just found out BM lost. My jaw dropped. Absolutely shocking how they lost, too. I mean, it was legit close, but they just ended up not getting it. It's absolutely wild. The Leafs confirmed. Honestly, it's another good comparison. I think the Cowboys is better because football, it's definitely close. Yeah, in-person attendance is going to be like sub 20K again. Actual attendance, like announced, is probably going to be like 24K. It's going to be less than last year, but still solid, but we'll see. Hope Panthers fans show up for the game next week. True. L Team Lil can't even punch it in the garbage time. It is sad that they just got an extra 4 downs and they might fail again. It's hilarious. Let's hope attendance for the UFL will be next week. Yeah. Toronto make-believes. Next Saturday night, 8 p.m., Michigan versus the DC Defenders. Yeah, I just hope the in-person attendance looks good. Yeah, Beck last week in the locker room said, good job getting to 8 wins. It's what we wanted, even though people said the game didn't matter, but it did them. Bro cared about the wrong game. True. I do hope that's the case. I hope that we see a decent amount of Michigan fans show up. I know we saw Maulers fans show up to the Maulers games that were in Canton for a decent amount, because I remember going to the championship games with a lot of Maulers fans. And they threw it again, and it's incomplete. It's going to be 4th and goal. Like, this is actually sad. They're really, like, they might not actually get a touchdown here. 4th and goal. Like, surely they can score here, right? Surely. 2.5 minutes left. All the fans have left. There's like you got the real diehards there. Everybody else is gone. I wouldn't say sold out, but it would definitely be a huge number. It would be 40K plus if they made it, but rough that they didn't. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in the clock. Ball is snapped. QB draw, they get the touchdown. Max Duggan padding his stats in garbage time. Yes, sir. Got to pad those stats. They're going to go for 4th and 12. Watch him make it. Get another touchdown just to pad the stats even more. It's tough because I believe MVP of the league, it's Perkins or Teamu. If it went to Kane, I wouldn't be against it, but it's going to be Perkins or Teamu. I hope Perkins, it's probably Teamu. Big difference there, true. But we all know the announced number is going to be like 20-something thousand. It's going to be a little lower side. It's not going to be the 27,000 it was last year, but yeah. They should go for 3. Yeah, they got to just do something. Is what is true. Going for 2 here. Make it a 16-point game. Let's see what they do here. Ball is snapped. He gets immediately pressured. Dude, the O-line, did they just not... What a play. That is the St. Louis Battlehawks game in a nutshell right there. That play. What a play. That's actually hilarious right there. Thunder are up. Wow. I know somebody earlier said they picked Thunder to win by 20. They might be right. SMH. So they're going to go for the 4th and 12 here. Now, will they get it? We'll see. But, I mean, hey, if they get the 4th and 12 and they get a couple of 3-point conversions, it's still technically alive. It's still a game, chat. The season can't end like that. No, they can't. Silvers get TD. That's good at least. Well, Duggan just got his TD. I mean, good old Mad Max coming in garbage time to get his pad his stats a little bit. Pulling the Dak Prescott just like the Cowboys. 4th and 12. I mean, this really is like the Cowboys-Packers game a couple years ago where the Cowboys were like massive favorites and they ended up getting crushed by Toyotathon, Jordan Love. I mean, it's really cool. 4th and 12. Can they... Dude, why is this stinging again? Find a new hobby. Geek, the UFL is over. 4th and 12. Let's see if they get this one. Ball is snapped. Duggan drops back, throws it over the middle, and it is intercepted. There goes the game. They shouldn't even take a 2-minute warning. They should just let the clock go down. I mean, come on. What stinks is the battle scripts. You know, this Absolutely diabolical right there. Embarrassing game for St. Louis right there. Max Duggan padded his stats to make them not look ass, even though they were. Wild. Optimism at the start of the season championship, just always getting bounced low G's. It's wild. Yeah, his two teams did not get the W. Hard to be a fan of this team. I mean, it's like Royce put it, asked, would you rather be a Showboats fan or a Battlehawks fans? I replied to him saying Browns versus Cowboys question, because it's so true. Would you rather be a fan of a team that just gets beat every week, or would you rather be a fan of a team that gives you hope just to take it away? Canada have a team or two in Ontario. A lot of fans here watching this league. Would be cool. I definitely know the biggest issue is like the whole, going across the country, passport, money, and all that. But it would be cool to see the league do something pretty, exotic and do something like that. Though I know there might be issues with the government, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I do hope that if DC ends up losing in the championship game, we see Williams, and I know Williams' defense wasn't the best all year, but I do hope we see him and Shannon come back. Would love to see these guys get back, because even though they wouldn't be getting as much money as they would, like Tennessee State odds are, they would be able to have the position of DC and head coach instead of interims. We'd love to see it. St. Louis at least been in the conference championship. Okay, so we count in the first round as that is, bro, that's diabolical. Wish the game was on Sunday. I got the day off. I do wish it was on, I do get why it's on night, but I do kind of wish it was earlier in the day for personal reasons, but it is what it is. It's right here. Hardware, folks. 3 new posts. Thank you again. So let me just go post my, there it is. So I was going to go 0-3, because over was 36.5. It was not 46.5. It was worse. 3 of 6 on the day. Went 3 of 3. Then 0 of 3, lol. Michigan versus DC is not. Who do you think will win next week? I think the Panthers probably can get it done. The biggest concern is the fact that DC now has momentum. It's very scary, but it's one of those things where it's like the Panthers just got past the boogeyman, which is why I honestly think that DC has a good shot, because we've seen a lot in history where a team will get past the boogeyman and either get the W or fall off. Seen with Rory McIlroy this season, honestly, in golf. But I think at the moment you probably have to pick Michigan, but it'll be interesting to see. Hope my backup team Panthers destroy DC. Yeah, definitely rough. Something hopefully can go right for me. The Pacers win again tonight. I would not look at the score, Matt. It ain't looking good. I know they made a comeback like yesterday or 2 days ago, but it ain't looking good for the Pacers right now, though. DC's going to be able to pretty much kneel this one off, so DC is going to win. Yep, they're just throwing up the Gatorade on Shannon Harris right now. Just running plays. Yeah. Yeah, Perkins get more healthy. That is a big factor. The fact that he's going to be healthier is a huge plus for them. Massive. Hold up. Duggan gets us in the end zone. Oh, no. What are these comments? You suck, lol. 0-3 in the playoffs. You're ridiculous, man. Well, thanks, Zomb, for what you do. I'm going to take off now. Hey, I hope you have a good night, too, man. Again, the stream it was wild streaming for, legitimately 6.5 hours. It's actually been over 6.5 hours since I started this at 2:45, so almost 7 straight hours is wild, but yeah. It's definitely a game. This was a pretty wild one, but yeah, definitely something else. Shannon Harris getting the Gatorade bath. Love to see that for him. Just massive. But it's a wild one. Then they're just kneeling the clock out right now. Pretty wild game. So I hope you all enjoyed the stream again. Keep it going for like a minute or two longer. They're going to go for 4th down. St. Louis just let them have it at this point. And they get it anyway. So yeah. Max Duggan, get ready to learn Chinese, brother. We get a new champion. That is a big deal. We have either DC or Michigan is going to get it. So either DC gets their championship they couldn't get in 2023, or Michigan finally gets the W, their first championship if you count the OG USFL since 1983. So it's going to be pretty fun for that. Hopefully the game ends up being a pretty solid one, but St. Louis, man, a lot of questions have to be asked about this team. What's the deal with the quarterback position next year? Should the team, I mean, it's not really up to the GM, but should Anthony Beck be back as head coach? Is he really that guy at head coach or not? Again, I stand by they pretty much need to almost fully revamp the quarterback room. It's just, it was not good this year. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. St. Louis should just kneel the ball here. I mean, even if they get a one-play touchdown, the only way they win the game is literally if they get tons of penalties. So, they're probably just going to try and do a play or two here. But, yeah, Shanghai Timu's UFL rebranded, bruh. 1st and 10, ball snap. They just hand it off. And that is game over right there. So DC is going to the UFL Championship game. It is going to be Michigan versus DC in the championship game. Again, I will be streaming that game next Saturday, starting it probably at 7:45 like normal, 15 minutes before. So massive for that one. Cause, bruh, it's definitely a wild one right there. So congrats to the defenders. Again, this I think is probably the second biggest or the biggest upset, shocking victory in the playoffs in this era of spring football. But it was a dominant win. They just, every part of the team that has been a weakness all season came out to play. The defense made stops. The ground game made big plays. In fact, really the deep passing game is what was barely used. They had like one, but it was pretty much it. So really solid. Got suspended for calling someone an a-hole for Lamau. That's actually great. That's hilarious. But congrats to them. So big win for Shannon Harris. Again, interim head coach getting the W. Love to see that. So again, we'll have the championship game next week. Michigan versus DC should be, hopefully, is a banger. I mean, let's call it like it is. It can't be worse than last year's championship game. You know what I mean? Like, it just can't be worse. Thank you, Joe. It just can't be worse than last year. It'll be a fun one. Hopefully, it's a good game. That's pretty much all we can really say is that it ends up being a good one. 7 new post-championship is set. Love to see it. Michigan finally making it. That should be a great game, hopefully. Again, if this DC team comes out to play next week, we're going to be in for a great game. So hopefully that's the case. It'll be interesting to see. See you in the championship, by the way, I called it. I mean, it was definitely something else to see. I've definitely loved to see that one. I mean, this was a fun day. Again, streamed for legitimately close to 7 consecutive hours today is wild. Was something fun. Again, yeah, DC lost their head coach. Interim came in, did a great job, like Marvin said. Got to give a lot of credit to Shannon Harris. Easily one of the best coaches in the league right now. I'd say he's probably overtaken Beck for the, I'd say, 3rd best coach in the league right now. Again, Wade, I'm not counting the head coach, I'm counting interims right now. I'd say he's probably the 3rd best coach behind Nolan and Skip again. We'll see what ends up happening with Skip in the offseason, but at the moment, Shannon is the 3rd best coach in the league. Hopefully he stays. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see. Again, I think if he loses the championship, there's a good chance he stays to try and come back and win it next year, but we'll see. And that game is going to be next Saturday, so be looking for that. I hope you all enjoyed this stream. This has been Zomb Phox. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, we're going to do at least 2 videos a week during the offseason. Now, the first couple weeks is probably going to be 3 a season, but we'll see. We'll probably see a lot of new coaches for sure. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. I hope you all enjoyed this stream. Again, like it. Think about becoming a community member. And as always, guys, have a great night. I'll see you all in the next video in the next stream.